Thanksgiving.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, November 25th, 2021. This is your award-winning Gibbo Nation Media Assassination episode 1402.
This is No Agenda.
Thankful for all of Gibbo Nation. And broadcasting live from the heart of Texas Hill Country here in FEMA Region number 6. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where this Thanksgiving's a sunny one. Sunny and clear, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
I kind of had to remind myself why we do this.
We do what?
Why we work on holidays.
Instead of sleeping in?
Yeah.
Wasting time. Wasting time when the world's spinning out of control.
There you go. That's the reason. No, that's not the reason. I remember why we started doing this.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, good.
I had to think about it. It was based on Ted Turner's WTBS Superstation concept. And
it was?
Yes.
I thought we just did it because we had nothing else to do.
Shh. Listen, I'm telling you the history. I like yours too, though. That's probably true. No, if you recall, what TBS used to do is, I think it was when the primetime shows came on, basically every single time there was a major time slot on traditional network television, such as talk shows, Saturday Night Live, or the news. I think really the 10 o'clock news was the big spot. And people would watch the headlines. Okay, let me see what the headlines are of the news. And then WTBS, Superstation WTBS, would start a movie 5 minutes after. Don't you remember that?
I really don't.
Oh, yeah. They may still do that, actually. And then from there, I think we extrapolated into, what is this? All of Hollywood and all television goes on hiatus. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to show up. And that was, of course, because we had nothing better to do, obviously. And here we are. And
well, to be honest about it, yes, there is that, but that holds true for all the shows. I think it's annoying, personally, to watch television. They do it over the summer.
Yeah.
They do it. They don't spread themselves out.
Yeah.
And now they're doing the 10-episode thing where they go and work their asses off for a month. And then, union teachers, the rest of the year, they just take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really don't like the fact that you're regularly watching. I do the 3x3 today. There's a bunch of substitutes that came in on that, including Becky Worley. Fly her out to New York during Thanksgiving. We'll go take some time off.
Right.
It's just annoying to me.
What's even more annoying is that the whole Thanksgiving is just kind of been destroyed around us. You know, the Friendsgiving thing, that must have started 5-6 years ago. Remember Friendsgiving? Well,
yes, I do remember Friendsgiving, and that was lackluster.
Well, it's rampant still. People are still doing them. Oh, we don't do Thanksgiving. That's we don't celebrate colonialism. We don't celebrate, like you think they brought turkeys for the Indians and got them some corn, maize? I don't think so. We're a bunch of colonial racists. And that's why we have to celebrate
that
Friends.
One died off. There's better things to bitch about than that, it looks like.
I don't know. Listen to Grey's Anatomy.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Zola. I'm so sorry. It's okay. You tried to get here, and Thanksgiving isn't really a holiday we should celebrate. There's no actual evidence Native Americans were even invited to a feast. I think they cared more about being colonized and having their land stolen than mashed potatoes. I'm sorry you're alone and eating peanuts, though. Love you.
I love you, Zola.
Love you.
Love you. So what's funny about that clip is besides the fake "I love you," I love yous, which is the most insincere thing you can imagine.
Yes, pretty much,
especially in that environment, is the phony. But yes, we had that. I mean, I always promised to talk about this a little bit, but I was listening to NPR. I thought I had a clip, but I guess I didn't clip it. I ran out of clip room.
Your clip bucket was full.
Pocatawak Indians or some Indians from that era, and there's some woman that's trying to do their history, and they talk about how the first year they came, the pilgrims came, and they were starving to death. The Indians didn't really do anything to help them right away, but then when they finally did, They showed him how to crack me up. I'll bury the clip.
Next year we'll do the clip. Sure.
Is that she says the Indians showed him how to fish because you have to be shown how to fish.
Yeah, we were stupid. The settlers were very stupid. Very stupid.
From the UK.
Fish. How do I get it?
and how to farm because
farm.
Yes. So it was like
without that we would have died. I wouldn't be doing this podcast if the Indians had not taught us how to fish. And by the way, it's Native Americans, American Indians.
Well, no, they're indigenous.
They're now indigenous?
This is what this woman kept calling the indigenous peoples.
Well,
it's a moving target. It's a moving target to see how liberal you are.
Yes. I don't want to belabor the point, but I do have one more quick clip because, after the whole spirit of Thanksgiving.
I could listen to those. By the way, you get more of those clips. I'll listen to those all day.
And by the way, I noticed, I was talking to Tina about this yesterday. There's this subtle difference. Some people say Thanksgiving and others say Thanksgiving. Now, do you notice the subtle difference in those two?
I never have.
No, because there's Thanksgiving.
I always thought it was pronounced Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I always thought it was. But my whole family outside of the Currys in the Netherlands always said Thanksgiving, and I always thought that was weird.
Thanksgiving.
And it seems there's two kinds of people.
I've never heard anyone say Thanksgiving.
Oh my goodness! I've heard several times this week alone. Who knows? Blue dress, silver dress. So anyway. No matter what, we have to destroy all kinds of traditions because of this racist country. We might as well just get rid of the priciest item on the menu since this transitory inflation has hit us.
And while we are on the topic of something that could be controversial, perhaps forego the turkey. Bear with me. I know that is the staple of the Thanksgiving meal. However, some people think turkey is overrated, and so it tends to be the most expensive thing on the table. Maybe you do an Italian feast instead. And I will say this, if you tell everyone you're having a Thanksgiving without turkey, some guests may drop off the list, and that's a way to cut costs too.
You just don't invite him, you cheap bastard.
Well, what's really interesting is that for almost 14 years on this show, we have finally reached that place where it is so bad that on Thanksgiving, we don't have turkey. Instead,
you slaves can get used to mac and cheese. Cheap macaroni and cheap cheddar melted together.
Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. Hey, everybody.
It was predictive.
I'll have to give away a family secret then.
The mac and cheese, the family mac and cheese secret?
No, the family offshoot, the Shill family.
Also known as the Shills.
The Shills. They don't have turkey for Thanksgiving.
What?
Yeah. They have the more traditional Thanksgiving of Cioppino.
What's Cioppino?
Cioppino's the fish soup.
No. Wait, that the Indians made for us?
Like bouillabaisse, only the Indians used to make Cioppino. No, it turns out that D hates turkey.
That's D, man.
So much. He hates it so much. That she refuses to have it anywhere near the house because maybe it's the stench. I don't know. If you get heritage turkey, it doesn't stink so much. But some turkeys.
I love
some
turkey.
Turkeys stink.
I love turkey.
I do too. I think it's good.
That's very funny.
I've noticed that as I've gotten older, though, that I get heartburn from turkey.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. You're supposed to just get sleepy and pass out.
I don't think it's just. I think the cheap Foster Farms turkeys are the ones that make you pass out.
What do they have in them? Some bennies or something? What's going on there?
What do you have to do to fatten them up? Ludes. That's what happened to all the ludes.
Hey, man, the turkeys took the ludes.
Now it's time for 3x3. Oh, yeah. Experiment by JCD. Comparing stories from ABC, CBS, and NBC.
The never-ending thing.
That's right. Every single Thursday, even on Thanksgiving, John C. Dvorak checks out the Big Three morning shows from the Big Three networks. And, John, what have you been learning today?
Well, I expected there wasn't going to be much to report because it seemed to me that these guys would be doing just a bunch of Thanksgiving's Day special.
Yeah, you'd expect. So they had live shows, though, because isn't it the Macy's parade is today, which is NBC, I guess. The NBC has the broadcast rights. I
don't know because ABC is the one that cut to the parade at the end of their segment.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, I don't go into that, but so let's start with today's show, which is the one that's on the ropes, and
wait a minute, it's on the ropes based on.
Nobody watches this show.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And what I thought was interesting is that they had. It was a uplifting Thanksgiving show they're going to do. It was a cancer survivor report on how this cancer survivor meets her Olympic hero.
Oh, no.
Who happens to be the Olympic. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Huh. There's 9 cars today on the Zephyr.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a holiday special report. Breaking news. Alert the boys over at Squawk Box CNBC. We have a 9-car Zephyr. 9-car Zephyr. Bitcoin currently at 58,935.
Oh, my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
Things are looking up.
By now.
By now.
So this Olympic hero, she was a trap shooter. This girl is a trap shooter. And having shot both traps and skeet, I would recommend skeet as the better choice. But she's a trap shooter, which is hard. And then they went to the set, and then they brought on Marlo Thomas, who heads up
St. Jude. St. Jude, sure.
I haven't seen her forever.
How does she look? She must be 70, 80 by now almost.
For 80, she looks good.
Yeah.
If she's 80. And she's getting a little gravelly voice, and she's fine. But, it was a depressing segment. So who's watching this stuff? It's just Thanksgiving. It's not the day to be watching this. But meanwhile, I thought it was, I could be
83.
wrong,
83.
Oh, she looks great for 83.
Wow. Yeah.
She's had work done. She's had work done.
Sure.
No doubt about it. So they had Harry Smith over there, and he's doing part of the reporting. And Harry Smith, look up Harry Smith's age.
He's also been around for a long time. Yeah, for sure.
He looks terrific, this guy, and he's still got he's got the pipes. He's just a dynamite guy, but I've always associated him with CBS.
Yeah, he left CBS for NBC in 2015.
Smith in
2015. He's 70.
Well, he's in great shape. He should move Nora out. And I will mention this since this is a show we do media deconstruction. The girl that you have to keep an eye on, and I have some clips from her later, they're minor, but is Kelly Evans. Now, Kelly Evans was one of the hosts on one of the CNBC Fast Talking show. It wasn't fast. I know it was Fast Money or Fast Talking is the way I call it. They go from person to person. She was on there. She's
Power Lunch.
She is a beautiful woman, and she can present. And I never heard her do the news before, so she's taken over from Shepard Smith while he goes on hiatus because it's Thanksgiving.
Hiatus. I'll bet she's really good. I watch her on CNBC. I don't like the show, but I see her come by. Yeah, I'll bet she's really good.
She is terrific as a newsreader, and the thing is about her, she's got more facial expressions. She's got.
Hold on. Let me just explain to everybody who may be tuning in because someone hit you in the mouth. You're hearing television producer talk here. So we talk about the length of her hair, her posture. All the women on CNBC have great posture. Yes. Admit that. Yeah. They all have the straightest backs in the business.
They have good posture.
Yeah, they got great posture. Yes. Okay.
Now,
isn't she a lawyer? She's got to be a lawyer.
I don't. It seems like everybody's
co-captain of the women's lacrosse team. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Hartford, Connecticut.
Anyway, so she comes on, and the thing about her. There used to be an evangelist on television. You don't see him as much anymore because he keeps getting busted by the government, named Robert Tilton. And he's out of Texas, Dallas, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Tilton, you'd watch him and you'd kind of get hypnotized by the way he did just weird stuff with his lips. Kelly does the same thing.
Oh, really?
Her lips, she pronounces words and their lips go into kind of convoluted, and you can't keep your eyes off her lips wiggling around in some awkward way. And it's like you're just there, okay.
Here's the question. When she says bye, do you then do it?
Well, if it's CNBC,
bye.
probably.
Yeah,
bye. No wonder there was a bull
bye.
on that show. So she did, and she is more personable. She should immediately. I don't think they have to move them up slowly, but she should be in. How Nora O'Donnell got the job she's got is beyond me compared to this girl. She's got better. She's just more. You just don't mind listening to her forever, and then a cohort.
Wait. Let me just put some credentials to her. Graduated magna cum laude from high school. Oh no, not high school. George Washington. Bachelor's degree in business journalism. 4-time scholar athlete. Oh my gosh!
Oh, good for her.
And she's married to Eric Chemi, the sports reporter on CNBC.
They probably sit around and watch football all day.
No, they go to work together. He's also at CNBC. Oh, that's nice.
Well, the other girl I've always liked at CNBC, who's a character called Courtney Reagan, who is just stuck at CNBC. She's a lifer. And they should team the two of them up, because when Courtney and Kelly work together, it's actually kind of fun to watch, because Kelly's expressive, but Courtney Reagan is so expressive, she's never going to go anywhere. She's making more. She is the Amelia Clark of broadcasting.
Yes, but
she's making so many faces.
Yeah, but she'll never be on primetime network because of the nose.
Her nose is
distracting.
You know what's weird about
it's distracting.
When I first met her,
we're horrible.
When I first met her, her nose was not that big. She's got one of those genetic traits where your nose just keeps getting bigger and bigger. There's two kinds of there's people in the world whose nose just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and other people whose ears. I don't know if you ever noticed
my
this.
Goodness, who did I see who had huge ears? I didn't realize it. Granholm, the energy secretary. It's like she's got saucers on the side of her head. Granholm, yeah. It's like I was pulling some clips today. I'm like, holy crap, woman, your ears are so big.
Yeah, she probably. There's some people. Their ears just keep
growing.
We have a local wine importer here whose ears are so big now they're bigger than his head.
Sure, really? Does he have good wine though? All right, let's move on. This is getting creepy.
I'm sorry I got distracted.
Yeah, it's
I'm
creepy.
just promoting Kelly Evans while we can.
Yes, okay, that's fine.
So they went on. So CBS. I'm sorry. That was Today's Show, which had Marlo Thomas on. And so let's cut to CBS. CBS has nothing more than a book promotion for a child's book. And they never do a lower third or anything for the writer of the book, who's the woman who owns all of the what's the name of these stores? Cake. I don't even. Guy didn't write it down. It's a chain of sweet shops all over New York and elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the book is called "Every Cake Has a Story." If you look that up and get her name, and Milk Bar is the name of the.
Okay, yeah,
Milk Bar. And Every Cake Has a Story. It's a children's book about cakes and cakes. It's not, so they're trying to stretch this interview with this woman whose name is never mentioned, and so they say the interviewers go. So what's the children's takeaway?
Cake good.
This kid's book.
Cake good. Christina Tosi. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, why does there have to be a takeaway for children reading a kid's book?
Well, no, that's a question that someone asks who has no question. Like, I don't know what to ask. I don't know what to ask anymore. Tell me, David Bowie, now that I've asked everything I can think of, what's people's takeaway of the album? What's the children's takeaway of the cake? What is the market's takeaway of the interest rate? I mean, that's just it's a lame ass question you throw out there because the floor producer is doing stretch. You know, they do that like a stretching silly putty, stretch.
So what's the takeaway? The author, who really doesn't have a lot to say, says, "You are who you are."
Oh, deep thoughts.
And then he goes on, and someone that said, "Well, that's the secret to life." Huh?
Okay, so I could hear sets turning off around the country. Yeah,
this is kind of the anti-socialist view of things. I don't know. So that was boring, and so then let's go to CBS.
So ABC. I'm sorry to go back, but
let's go to ABC.
Yeah,
that was CBS. CBS had the book review of the children's book. Today had a cancer survivor that uplifting.
Another uplifting moment.
And so ABC, we go to ABC, there's Becky Worley.
Our friend Becky Worley.
So Becky's been shipped out of California, leaving her wife, she's married to a woman, leaving her wife and kids, she's got a couple of kids, behind for Thanksgiving. So whoever it is, the dingy blonde that does deals and steals can take a hiatus. And Becky is now stuck in New York. I believe that they would not have flown out the whole family. I mean, it's possible that she could make that deal happen, but it seems unlikely.
She has that kind of juice, but I don't think she would want to.
Yeah,
because you're going to be up early. It doesn't really make sense. How is she looking? How is Becky looking these days?
She looks good.
Yeah,
she always looks good. She's one of the best looking women on television.
Yeah.
And she's got the right size head, and she's got the big smile,
head,
and she's very personable, and she's fast witted. Mm-hmm. So she's got. I don't know why she just doesn't move to New York and get a job.
And what people don't realize is that she's basically a dude. She's very, very funny, very fast, crude, and funny.
Okay, here's the story. This is going to take forever to do this segment. So Becky used to produce over at Tech TV, and I knew her pretty well. I still see her once in a while. And she was never more proud than when she'd come in and just say, "How do I look?" And you say, "You look fine. You do." and she says, "Well, here's what I really look like under all this makeup." And then she'd show pictures of herself because she's a rugby player.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. She plays rugby. Yeah.
She plays rugby. And so she'd bring us some photos and check this out. And it would be a picture of her face.
Completely
all
muddied.
Black and blue.
Yeah.
Just beat up. And I say, "What is this?" She says, "Yeah, this was my match over the weekend. Yeah, we had a great time.
The scrum was awesome."
So okay. That's basically Becky. And
good for her. She probably doesn't want to live in New York.
There's obviously some reason because she can move to LA too and probably get work down there. But she does this gig. I don't know what she does most of the time, but she's good. She's good on both sides of the camera.
Yeah.
Now on here, I have the sense of the following. Now she took over. I think this should have been Deals and Steals, but no, they had a segment. I turned right. I'm telling you, I flipped right to this. There's Becky with strategic savings.
Oh, it's a new kind. Strategic. Okay, let me guess. Tofurkey?
No, there was nothing like that. It was mostly like Amazon had their television is going to be on sale for $5.99. And they had.
So it's Deals and Steals just with a different label.
Yeah, and also without the codes and without the direct selling. And I think it's like Macy's. They had a Macy's deal and they had a Target deal. These are all high-end stuff, but there was not direct selling. And I think the following. Becky started off doing these segments on ABC years and years ago, and they essentially
took her idea.
Ridiculing direct sales operations.
Oh.
She'd take on the Sham Wow guy, if you remember that.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And in fact, she gave me a couple of these things. She picked up hundreds of these Sham Wows, and she was giving them to everybody. And she would talk about the Sham Wow and how it works and if it's any good, and it was kind of mediocre. But it was always direct sales ridicule. And I think she decided that she's not going to do direct sales, the kind of direct sales that she used to ridicule.
No, of course not.
And so they gave it this other thing.
Strategic. So that the minute you pop up a QR code, you got to pitch it. That's where she walks away, I'm sure. Like, I'm not doing that.
QR code was pitched anyway.
You know that I once auditioned for QVC?
Oh, you would be perfect.
In fact, I thought I was. But it didn't work out. I can't remember if it is because they didn't offer enough but it was weird doing that, man.
What did they offer?
Not enough money. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I would have to leave MTV, essentially. I'm like, I don't know about this career move. You got to come up with a lot of cash for me to go from Headbanger's Ball to the Beaver shaving brush. Which I thought in my audition, I said, I love the feel of Beaver on my face in the morning.
Well, that's probably why you didn't get it.
That's why I didn't get it.
Face too when you delivered that line.
That was my mistake. They said, offer the guy less. He'll never take it. Yeah.
Well, anyway, so that's my report of the various segments.
Yes, long report, but of course, that's
a lot of inside baseball in there. People need to know. They like to hear this stuff.
Well, this is how the executives talk about their news models. In this case, we discussed at least two, probably three, who are all very highly qualified and highly educated and smart and good at it, because I watched all three of them. But Becky is my favorite, because you know that she's just sitting there and thinking different things. We can see it. It's like we know you're thinking about rugby with the girls. Come on. You don't want to do these deals and steals. Anyway. Why don't we talk about the most important thing probably going on in America today, as people are talking about gas prices. And this show is uniquely positioned to talk about this topic because I have the clips and you have the knowledge when it comes to oil and strategic reserves, etc. So we will start with the president's announcement. And I think it's important we do the full minute 20 because he bumbles through it and it's worth listening to what he's trying to say.
So today I'm announcing that the largest ever release from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to help provide the supply we need as we recover from this pandemic.
You know, at that first, you already hear strategic. You already know that there's behind the stage going, oh, crap, I don't know if he can make it through this minute. Oh, God, Lord, please help.
Well, they only put him up there for 10, so that was a plus. And then he walked right off the stage.
Yeah, I think you pegged it at 12 as the max for him. 12 is
more like 15.
I think 12 is all he can do before it really gets bad. So anyway, here we go.
We need as we recover from this pandemic. In addition, I brought together other nations to contribute to the solution. India, Japan, the Republic of Korea, and the United Kingdom have agreed to release additional oil from their reserves, and China may do more as well. This coordinated action will help us deal with the lack of supply, which in turn helps ease prices. The bottom line, today we're launching a major effort to moderate the price of oil, an effort that will span the globe in its reach and ultimately reach your corner gas station, God willing.
God willing.
I've worked hard these past few weeks on calls and meetings with foreign leaders, policymakers, to put together the building blocks for today's global announcement. And while our combined actions will not solve the problem of high gas prices overnight, it will make a difference.
Forever.
It will take time, but before long, you should see the price of gas drop where you fill up your tank. And in the longer term, we'll reduce our reliance on oil as we shift to clean energy. But right now, I will do what needs to be done to reduce the price you pay at the pump. From the middle class and working families that are spending much too much and it's a strain. And you're the reason I was sent here to look out for you.
That's my favorite. Hey, man, you're the reason I was here to look out for you. And here, how am I doing? Before I ask you to weigh in particular on the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, first, I find it interesting that every president up until this one, not even Obama, I don't think, it was always, we want to reduce our reliance on foreign oil, reduce our reliance on foreign oil. Then we got that done, and now it's reduce our reliance on oil. just oil. We just don't want to have oil. So this clip, I think the clip custodian got this for me. This is from NTD Business. Tom McNulty, talking about the impact of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve release.
So joining us is Tom McNulty, energy expert and the managing director of the Houston office of ValueScope. Tom, great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, it's great to see you.
Great to see you.
Yeah. Tom, this new move from the Biden administration to start releasing some of the strategic reserves, I believe the idea was to help ease oil and gas prices, but today on the announcement we see Brent crude up considerably. What do you think is happening in the markets?
WTI's up as well. I think it's you first understand what the SPR is for. It's really for emergencies, and that means war, conflicts, blocked canals, and also massive storms like Hurricane Katrina. It's not really designed to move gasoline prices. WTI traded up and Brent. A couple of reasons, I think. I mean, it's not a lot in the scheme of things. It might be less than the market was expecting, but really above all, the market is not going to reprice based on this amount of crude. I mean, there's a lot of detail in this. I mean, I think it's a lot of heavier sour crude. I don't know that our refinery complex is set up at this time of year to crack that crude. I think a lot of it will wind up in China and India. I mean, energy's complicated. It's a global market. It's also very physical and very technical. And I think this is perhaps more of a political move than a physical, technical move.
So in 14 years of doing this show, I've learned that when stuff is going the opposite direction of intended, particularly when it comes to oil, when we're talking Brent and WTI, there's only one man I can turn to, and that's you. What is going on?
Well, I'm not sure that his analysis of the nature of the strategic reserves is correct in that it's sour crude. I don't think so.
Well, he kind of sounded like he didn't know what the mix was, or and what is sour crude?
But why would you save the worst crap in the world, which is sour crude, as a strategic reserve?
I don't know. Trump did it. Trump did it. Maybe he thought he was getting a deal.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know about that. But the other part, which is was also noted by Horowitz, which is that as soon as he announced the deal, the price of oil went up again.
Yeah, of course.
Both the WTI and the Brent, which is two different types of oil. And I think it's just a joke. And I think the guy's dead right, which is that this is supposed to be used in cases of dire emergencies. That's why we have a bunch of it. You just don't dump it on the market to try to control prices. That's just he's just grandstanding the way I see it. And nothing's going to come of it. Prices will probably go up.
There were the Energy Secretary Granholm, the one with the saucers, with the saucers. You got to look at him. Once you see him, it's like, holy crap. So she did a little bit of the press thing with Psaki, and she got two questions that I wanted to highlight, which really just shows you, without her having to say it, lots of people might have seen the clip of her saying, we're in a transition. This is just, I think we might have even played it on the last show. But this kind of lets her tie herself up a little bit more with stupidity. But it's important because she is, in fact, in charge of energy in the United States. And I'm sure that these types of idiots are all over in every country, in every administration. And it's April Ryan teeing up the question. April Ryan, April Ryan. It has to be about poor people. How is this helping poor people?
You said your effort is primarily targeting working and low-income families. What do you say to those families who are feeling the pinch right now at the pump? Prices are
pinch at the pump.
High.
Yeah, no doubt. This is why the president has been really thoughtful about this. I mean, this is, we've looked at every angle of what the tools are to him. He feels so strongly that all Americans are feeling the pinch as a result of gasoline at the pumps. And short term, we have to do everything in our power. And that's why we have the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But he also feels very strongly that long term, the strategy really is.
Hold on a second. There's a tell in there. She has a chuckle tell. So
is that a chuckle or a nervous reaction?
And let's listen, because it could be the nervous reaction to the lie she just told, that this will she says short term, this will help at the pump. That's what she said. Maybe she's laughing because of that, or what comes next. zoom in, rotate, enhance.
We have to do everything in our power, and that's why we have the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But he also feels very strongly that long-term the strategy really is to go clean. I mean,
long-term. Okay, maybe that's it. He feels really strongly. Long-term, the strategy is...
She laughed right in the middle of strongly.
She's laughing because she knows that this clean energy is laughable.
To do everything in our power, and that's why we have the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But he also feels very strongly that long-term the strategy really is to go clean. I mean, right now, the price, for example, of solar and wind...
Nervous.
Yeah, well, hold on. But see, now, this is where she starts to mess it up. Now she's going to get into specifics. Listen to this.
That long-term, the strategy really is to go clean. I mean, right now, the price, for example, of solar and wind is cheaper than in most places in the country because it's free fuel.
Okay, let me just make sure we're not conflating everything. Prices at the pump, but it's free fuel from solar. Free. She said free fuel.
Than more traditional sources of energy. So he wants to bridge that time and double down on investing in clean while creating jobs, but do what we can within our power to lower the cost today.
And notice the term is now just clean. We're investing in clean. What are you doing? I'm investing in clean. How do you heat your house? Clean. So clean is kind of the new hip way of saying, or at least she's trying to introduce it, dish head lady. But then, so she told all these lies, which she must know that short term, this will not affect the prices at the pump. I mean, even if it's if it has to get refined, petroleum is not something, you can't just go to the strategic reserve and put it in your tank, right? It has to be refined.
No.
Yeah, you can't siphon it off. Let me get a little bit of strategic reserve here. No. So she knows that can't even be true, but then it must have been Peter Doocy from Fox News. So he came up with a calculation. Well, wait a minute, it's 50 million barrels. That's not that much.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, for doing this. There's various figures.
Oh, no, it's not Doocy, it's someone else.
About this, so I'm curious if you know, how many barrels of oil does the U.S. consume per day?
I don't have that number in front of me.
Oh, so this is right. How many barrels of oil does the U.S. consume on a daily basis? I don't have that information. Can't you get that from Wikipedia?
I could look it up right now. Yeah. We have the number in 10 seconds.
Okay, 9, 8.
No, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
If you know, how many
it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like something the energy secretary would know if there was a number being released.
She should know how much we pump and how much we have and what we do.
Yes, that's kind of requisite for the job, you'd think.
She should know which refineries are not doing any work. They're down.
Yeah, how many?
That's what you do. What else does she have to do?
Yeah, just track the dashboard, lady.
There's various figures about this, so I'm curious if you know, how many barrels of oil does the U.S. consume per day?
I don't have that number in front of me, sorry.
So some suggest it's about 18 million, which would suggest you're releasing less than 3 days' worth of supply from the petroleum reserve. Why is that enough?
Well...
Okay, so in case you couldn't hear it, so some suggest it's about 18 million barrels a day, which would be your release of 50 million barrels is really for less than 3 days. How can that be enough to affect the price?
What we are doing, plus what other countries may be doing.
Humana. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this tap dance.
Which will be less than what we're doing because we have the largest amount of strategic petroleum.
Yes. We got the biggest, lady. Yeah, ours is the biggest.
Petroleum reserves. We believe will be this bridge. I mean, the Energy Information Agency has said, for example, that in December, this is what they have projected. Now, again, it's probably more of an art than a science. Projecting is subject to a lot of different volatility.
Oh, you mean like global COVID, warming global warming, and vaccine efficacy, that kind of stuff? Yeah, thank you. Global warming's even better. Really? It's more of an art than a science. Oh, well, this is new, Miss Clean.
We're science. No, it's art.
This is what they have projected. Now, again, it's probably more of an art than a science. Projecting is...
Wait, what was the name of this agency? I got it. Who are these jamokes?
This clip is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, this is scary is what it is.
we believe will be this bridge. I mean, the Energy Information Agency has said, for example, that in December, this is what they have projected. Now, again, it's probably more of an art than a science. Projecting is subject to a lot of different volatility, but that in December, the price will be $3.19 a gallon, and then in January, continue to go down.
Okay, so she's doing the craziest thing. Why would you ever predict prices down to the penny? Down to the penny. Yes, the U.S. Energy.
3.18. She said by December.
Yeah, 3.19. She's giving
That's
numbers.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah. U.S. Energy Information Administration, independent statistics and analysis. Independent. Mm-hmm. And right there, Today in Energy posted today, average U.S. gasoline prices are higher this Thanksgiving than any since 2012. Yay. All right, let's go back to the videotape.
Volatility, but that in December, the price will be $3.19 a gallon, and then in January, continue to go down. So this is really a question about a short-term strategy.
Oh, you heard it here. This is supposed to pay off short-term. It's not even possible.
That allows us to make this bridge. So it's not, we're going to not supply all of the oil for 3 days, obviously.
Oh, John, it's going to work differently. We're going to spread it out.
We will be releasing it over a period of time. And
it's like OxyContin. It's time released.
We will have a certain amount that each particular cavern is releasing. But we're not saying that we're going to be supplying all oil for the country. We're just going to try to do what we can to temper.
And it's coming over several weeks, then, you said?
Mm-hmm. It will be. Well, first of all, we're not going to release it all at once.
Okay. I love this. She has no idea, does she? She really doesn't know. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
She's in over her head.
It's great.
It will be thoughtfully done over the next...
Thoughtfully done.
Thoughtfully
done. Oh, I thought it was...
Science.
It's art. Thoughtful art, science.
Art, science. Thoughtfulness.
Thoughtfulness. How would you invest thoughtfully?
We are not going to release it all at once. It will be thoughtfully done over the next bit of time. And it will be dependent on those...
Bit of time.
Not the next
What
month.
kills me?
A bit of time.
The only thing that made it onto social media of this entire answer was the point where she says, I don't know the price right now. And everyone's like, she doesn't know the price. She doesn't know the price. Look at this clip. It's like, if you idiots would listen for 5 minutes to what this lady is actually saying, it's much more entertaining.
First of all, we are not going to release it all at once. It will be thoughtfully done over the next bit of time. And it will be dependent on those who bid. So that takes a little bit of time to do.
Okay.
Wait, they're buying this stuff?
No, what she's saying is they've got partners. You see? They got partners to help them out. Like Japan. Yeah, Japan's going to release their strategic reserves.
Listening to you just now, it sounds like you're saying the price is going to hit a certain amount in December and then down into January.
Yeah, it will be over a few weeks. It'll be over.
So we're looking at increased prices continuing through the
She's going to hang for
Well,
this.
we're hopeful that this will, because it's increasing supply and it's the largest effort ever, we are hopeful that there will be a lid.
Hopeful.
Although some of this, honestly, there has been movement on oil. The price of per barrel has dropped about 10% since this conversation.
Is that true? It went up. I don't know. What oil is she looking at? Did any of the oils go down?
No, they all went up.
She's lying. She said 10%. 10%. Let's take a look at that.
Been movement.
Well, I mean, it's possible it did a dipsy-do, but I don't think it was 10%.
A dipsy-do? Well, then she should have said dipsy-do for extra points.
On oil, the price of per barrel has dropped about 10% since this conversation.
I think she means olive oil.
Started and was out there. So we're hopeful that prices will be stabilized and start to move down. We are not saying that there is going to be some dramatic difference, but we all.
You said $3.19 in December.
18.
That's
Let's get it straight.
I thought she said 19.
I think she said 18.
also are recognizing, and everybody needs to, I think, be a partner in letting people know that last year was an anomaly because...
Wait a minute. Everybody has to be a partner in letting people know. This is interesting talk.
We are not saying
actually, that's a tell.
Let's listen again.
It's like they're telling you the media is like,
Oh, you got to be a partner. Oh, good catch. Hold on.
Will be stabilized and start to move down. We are not saying that there is going to be some dramatic difference, but we also are recognizing, and everybody needs to, I think, be a partner in letting people know that last year was
quit
an
doing these scary stories about the gas price. You
get on board, you a-hole. Be a partner. Be a partner in the messaging. Wow, you were so right on that.
Dramatic difference, but we also are recognizing, and everybody needs to, I think, be a partner in letting people know that last year was an anomaly because demand during COVID for gasoline was so low that the prices were so low. And when demand is high, the price goes up, and demand now has exceeded supply, and we are doing our part to make sure that we can alleviate as much of that pain as possible.
Well, she's going to eat a lot of that, no doubt. OPEC and Russia are already talking about pausing production just to jack up the price. They're not going to.
Yeah, that'll do it.
They're not going to stand for this.
These guys have been studying this since the 70s, how to do this correctly so they don't lose market share.
That's so stupid.
They know how to do it.
That's so stupid.
While we're on this topic, we do have to go back to Biden because I have to say when he left, we talked about the 10 minutes versus 12 minutes versus 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, be up there so long. I did to catch a clip of him telling us why he had to leave this conference. I don't know if you caught this. It's the end. No,
I'm sorry.
It's Biden ISO.
Oh.
I'm heading to a food kitchen to serve meals right now. Thank you for your time and effort.
A food kitchen.
That's what he said at the end of his little speech there. And then after he left, they went nuts because he just walked off the stage, or I should say staggered off the stage. And it's not his gait. He moved left, he moved right, he barely made it out. And then he heard this.
And other leaders, when will you answer our questions, sir?
I couldn't understand it. What did he say?
Well, it was just a bunch of people yelling, and then it was very clear at the end, why won't you answer our questions, sir?
Well, he's got to go to a food kitchen.
And so, yeah.
But a food kitchen is where he eats. Does he know that that's... I need to go to food kitchen for food. Food kitchen.
So I'm thinking about this because the way they left that on the clip at C-SPAN was notable because he used to always do that with Trump. They'd be yelling at him as he left. And one reporter, normally Jonathan Karl, would loudly ask some embarrassing question. And so this guy did the same thing, and they left it on. And I said, well, that's interesting. So I guess they're trying to balance things a little bit because it's the way they handled Trump. But what was more interesting is when C-SPAN went to the clips you just played from Granholm, who came in right after Biden left, they left the end of the Biden thing on the clip.
Huh.
So they had Biden staggering off the stage, and then they had this little thing at the end. Why won't you answer our questions, sir? And then they cut to Granholm and Psaki. So a little.
Well, I got the Granholm from C-SPAN. I mean, you can't trust anything. Especially if you get a clip where you're laughing your ass off. Like, what an idiot! You got to go look at these things in full context.
You do
because it's so
we
bad.
We try to do that most of the time.
Oh, it's hard. And if you get the same clip from a whole bunch of people, you can just this is great, and you overlook it. And that's where I run into trouble because I'm always like, clip, this is great. So I had to go back to C-SPAN whenever possible just to get as much as I can. So all of this is predicated on climate change, which is going to kill us. Meanwhile, we have about a dozen ships stuck in the Arctic as the ice freeze came early. Oops. Don't think we'll have many stories about that. I did like CNN.
No stories, please. No.
Let me see who published this.
It ruins the long-term narrative. We're hurting the people by telling these stories.
This is not good. It only fuels conspiracy theories. We should not be passing this information on. But CNBC did a funny one. The COP26 conference set a record for CO2 emissions with air travel the main culprit. So they put the numbers to it. According to estimates, the 2-week COP26 summit, which ends on Friday, will emit about 102,500 tons of carbon dioxide, the equivalent of a total average annual emissions for more than 8,000 UK residents.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because that won't get much press.
No, well,
CNBC is a very small market.
No, this is their version of humor. This is like a weekend holiday story. Hey, let's laugh. Let's laugh at what people might get upset about. But meanwhile, it is, they're starting to ramp it up again. It might as well. I have 2 clips here. Oh, yeah, this first one, this is David Suzuki. If you remember David Suzuki, I think he's like a activist, scientist, millionaire, television type guy. He reminds me of Michikuchu, our nut job over here.
Oh, the guy, the string theory guy.
Yeah, the string theory guy. So this is David Suzuki, and he's in, I think this might have been a protest in Ottawa. He's Canadian. And listen to what he says is next.
Hundreds of people gathered in downtown Victoria today holding a funeral for the future. Protesters marched from Centennial Square to the legislature in what they called a funeral procession. This event comes after the COP26 climate change conference, and protesters say the talks fell short. With this funeral for the future, Extinction Rebellion Vancouver Island hopes to bring attention to the climate emergency and are calling on the government to act on it now.
Did she say Extinction Rebellion?
No, I think she said extinction. I hope so.
With this funeral for the future, Extinction Rebellion...
Yeah, she kind of flubs it a little bit. Extinction. Yeah. We would call her into the office and tell her to work on addiction.
Get her a coach.
Get a, what is it, a addiction
coach is what it's called.
Addiction coach. Oh, gee.
With this funeral for the future, Extinction Rebellion Vancouver Island hopes to bring attention to the climate emergency and are calling on the government to act on it now.
Here he is.
We're in deep, deep doo-doo, and they've been telling us, the leading experts, for over 40 years. This is what we're come to. The next stage after this is they're going to be pipelines blown up if our leaders don't pay attention to what's going on.
Now, these two things combined with the elites jetting off to the conference with the clear threat of pipelines are going to blow up, that is State of Fear. That is Michael Crichton's book right there. Completely on message.
Interesting.
Because that's exactly what it was. They were there. They were going to sabotage an ice sheet and blow it up to have this huge ice sheet, move off towards God knows whatever. And they were all justifying their private planes because, they're helping so many people. And of course, they had to kill him, Michael Crichton, because of that book. I don't know if that's true, but sounds right.
It seems kind of fishy. He dies shortly thereafter.
He did die pretty quick after it. But then...
And he was a healthy guy. I mean, if you look at him, I've seen him interviewed quite a bit. He's kind of... I actually tried to get a hold of him for something I was doing. Very difficult to get a hold of. He's got a bunch of, layers and layers of secretaries that won't let you get...
Well, he should have had layers and layers of something else. Food tasters or whatever.
Food tasters, that would do it.
So I don't know what happened to Boris Johnson. Well, we know he went into the hospital with COVID, but
it came out a new Boris Johnson.
Now he's gone apeshit so bad that BBC did a full. I only got like a minute and a half, but did a full takedown of some speech he did, which might have been, I'm sure it was politically connected, whatever. But he's just. He's gone insane. He's gone climate insane.
These are important and pressing times for British business.
Again, this is BBC.
And today, in the northeast of England, the CBI's annual conference was addressed by the Prime Minister.
Good morning, everyone. It's fantastic to be here in Tyneside, one of the big net exporting regions in the whole of the UK.
It was an orthodox start to the speech, but soon we were into more unusual territory. When presenting his 10-point plan to support businesses going greener, Mr Johnson compared himself to Moses. He also quoted Lenin, and then made this pitch for electric cars.
EVs may not burble like sucking doves, and they may not have that rum, rum, rah, rah that you love, but they have so much torque that they move off the lights faster than a Ferrari.
As the Daily Mail noted, Mr Johnson attempted an impression of a traditional petrol engine, issuing a series of guttural sounds to confuse delegates in South Shields. Mr Johnson also began to list some of the policies he's promoting.
With safer streets, with great local schools, with fantastic broadband.
But at this point, the Prime Minister lost his place, and for 21 long seconds, couldn't find it again.
I left it in. He's flipping out.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
He's glitching.
No doubt to his relief, Mr Johnson then returned to the script. And before he was finished, he wanted to talk about a family day out.
Yesterday I went, as we all must, to Peppa Pig World. I don't know if you've been to Peppa Pig World.
Oh, yeah.
Who's been to? Hands up anyone who's been to Peppa Pig World.
Not many hands went up. Peppa Pig World is several hundred kilometres from South Shields. The Prime Minister went on.
Peppa Pig World is very much my kind of place. It has very safe streets, discipline in schools, heavy emphasis on new mass transit systems, I noticed.
What happened? What happened? That was very bizarre.
Yeah, I heard part of that. I didn't hear the missing pieces, and I just heard about the Peppa Pig.
Peppa
world.
Pig, yeah.
Yeah, something's up.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was really weird.
Well, I think it's probably more common than not this whole nuttiness that he's been exhibiting.
Yeah, but this was a lot. But I don't know. For whatever reason, the BBC doing this seems like a big deal. That they're going to take down the Prime Minister, making him look like a buffoon, which he had a fine time doing by himself. I just thought it was interesting.
Not going to take a lot of work.
Interesting. I thought, unless you have anything else on climate change.
Oh, let's see what I got.
Because it is what's coming next. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I know what's coming next.
Migrants. I got NASA News, which is kind of interesting.
Well, yes, let's do that. I have the clip. I have 2 clips for that. I know exactly what you're talking about, but unless it's not climate change.
No, it's not. No, I have got nothing on climate change.
Let's do the NASA News for a second.
Now to that
breaking
news.
There's 2 things that are going on. They got 2 things that are happening. One, they're setting up a new telescope, which sounds like a fiasco waiting to happen.
Do you have the telescope clip?
Oh, listen carefully to this telescope clip and tell me that this is not a fiasco waiting to happen.
Well, meanwhile, NASA is about to embark on another historic mission, launching a new telescope in the search for life on other planets. Its massive size and capabilities, they say, make the Hubble Space Telescope look like a child's toy. The Hubble Space Telescope has been beaming back images, transforming our understanding of the universe for more than 30 years. Now, its successor, a telescope 100 times more powerful, is just weeks away from launch. The James Webb Space Telescope is designed to answer humanity's most existential questions. Are we alone in the universe? And where did that first light in the cosmos come from?
I think its greatest discoveries are going
to be answers to questions that we have yet to ask or imagine.
Webb's deputy project manager, Paul Geither, was hired by NASA 30 years ago to help fix Hubble.
It was the mechanical version of eye surgery. Endeavour's 11-day fix-it mission in space was to install corrective mirrors so the nearsighted and nearly $2 billion Hubble Space Telescope can do what it's supposed to do, see.
But once in space, Webb can't be repaired by astronauts. It'll be too far away, orbiting the sun at a distance 4 times farther from Earth than the moon. The telescope is also so big, about the size of a tennis court, that it can't fit on top of a rocket fully intact.
We had to design it so it could be folded up and then unfold in space. So it's the origami observatory.
With more than 300 single points of failure, and each one could prove to be fatal to the mission's success. Now, the telescope's going to launch no earlier than December 22nd on a European rocket from French Guiana.
Well, 300 points of failure, launching with a European rocket in French Guiana.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's going to be sent into the middle of nowhere.
This is an incredible problem, this telescope, because they're going to name it the Webb telescope instead of something new, and the LGBT community, LGBTQIAPK plus, is very angry because, as we all know, James Webb was, I have it here. James Webb, influential administrator at NASA during the 60s and 70s, worked in the Truman administration as Undersecretary of State at the time when the department systematically discriminated against gay and lesbian employees. You see. So because of that, it cannot be named the Webb telescope, but they're going ahead anyway, which I think dooms it. It is doomed. They should rename it immediately. They're going to get all the bad LGBTQ karma.
Well, you could also get one bad LGBTQ employee nicking a wire.
Yeah, anything is possible. Anything.
Well, with 300 points of failure, I mean, come on.
So on Monday, and I wish I'd come up with it Sunday on the show, it would have been much more impactful. But on Monday, I was saying to the keeper, what can they do next? And that was kind of in context of, the vigilantes. Nothing really scares the American public. COVID is no longer scary. And maybe it's just not the American public. I think everywhere. People are done with being afraid of COVID. People are done with being afraid of terrorism. Because, it doesn't quite pan out the way the fear was put in. It lasted too long. And, climate change, obviously no one's afraid of that. Wouldn't it be great if we could make people afraid again? And I've always been a fan of Project Bluebeam, which would mean aliens would come over us and tell us to shape up, and the world leaders would say we should all agree and go ahead with the New World Order based upon what the aliens say.
Yeah, I would go along with anything some crazy alien told me to do.
So I was kind of in on that. And then I'm like, yeah, how about this? And all of a sudden, this pops up.
Now to that breaking news overnight, the NASA mission that sounds something like out of a sci-fi movie, a rocket on its way to crash into an asteroid and try to actually knock it off course. Kaylee Hartung is tracking the latest on this trial run, and that's the key. It's a trial run in preparation for a potential threat down the road. Kaylee, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Whit. This is a test. I repeat, this is just a test. It's NASA's first ever planetary defense mission. And the goal of this crash is to knock this massive asteroid off its path, which scientists say could prevent a truly catastrophic natural disaster one day in the case an asteroid threatens this planet. So overnight, NASA launching the DART mission. That's short for Double Asteroid Redirection Test. This SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket took off from Vandenberg Space Force Base here in Southern California. And in about 10 months, a spacecraft the size of a vending machine will crash right into an asteroid about 7 million miles away from Earth at a speed of 15,000 miles an hour. Now, this mission, it amounts to target practice. And the asteroid they're targeting, it's a rock the size of a stadium, 525 feet across. It's called Dimorphos, and it is not on a collision course with Earth. But after it takes this direct hit, NASA will be tracking it to see if it's knocked ever so slightly off its course. And if this works, scientists say this technique technology could save the world one day, guys.
Ooh. And Kaylee, we appreciate that you reminded us it's only a test. Fascinating.
So when it comes to COVID, we had all this pre-programming. We had all this fear stuff that outbreak, and oh my goodness, Fauci even advised on outbreak. There were many CDC people. We even laughed about that, and that came before swine flu. And there's just been countless examples of Hollywood. Now, this already harkens back to, don't worry about it. Bruce Willis isn't on this one. But then, to solidify the thinking of, could we make people very afraid of something, in this case, an asteroid or a comet, all of a sudden Netflix comes out with this, which is launching December 24th. While you hear some of the sound, I'll tell you the cast. Jennifer Lawrence, Jonah Hill, Meryl Streep, Ron Perlman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Blanchett, Ariana Grande, Tyler Perry. I mean, this is one of the biggest movies ever. It's called Don't Look Up.
Oh, good for you. It's headed directly towards Earth.
This comet is what we call a planet killer.
At this exact moment, I say we sit tight and assess.
Sit tight and assess?
Sit tight.
And then assess. The sit tight part comes first, then you got to digest it. That's the assessment period.
This is not worse.
Anyway, so the plot of this movie, which is just coincidence with the DART mission, the plot of this movie is these two astrophysicists, they figure out that this comet is going to kill the Earth. And when they finally get it up the flagpole far enough, they're in the president's office. That would be Meryl Streep with Jonah Hill. And those guys like, wait a minute, there's trillions of dollars of riches and minerals on these things. And so, I guess hopefully they save the planet. I don't know. But it just seems like one of those things, like we're ready for it. Do you think we could scare the world with a comet, which would be easy to do video-wise, of course?
We've had a million of these. So you're telling me that you've changed your entire philosophy of life, not to the point where we have a situation with NASA sending this stupid little rocket to knock this asteroid off kilter. Not the setup for the movie so we can sell more tickets?
Well, that was going to be my second question. It seemed...
Well, the second question is what I think.
Right. Well,
now...
Well, notice one thing. There's one twist. It's going up on an Elon Musk rocket. And
I noticed that, yeah.
But okay, so it's on an Elon Musk rocket. I think that all these jamokes, the penis mobile, Bezos's rocket, I don't know if Branson is really a player. I think these guys really all want to go after, because we've heard these stories before. They want to go after the trillions of dollars of minerals on the asteroid. I think that's what this is about.
For years.
I think that's what this is about. And now Elon Musk is going to go and do it.
Well, this rocket that's going to hit the asteroid is a very strange situation that they didn't talk about, the report you have there. First of all, the asteroid is a small moon.
Yeah, they're going to hit the moon. Asteroid. Right. They're going to hit the moon, and then the moon is supposed to hit the asteroid.
Well, no, they just hope it just knocks it out of its orbit. But since it's circling, it's not going in one direction. It's circling. The whole thing, the whole compound of moon asteroid are going in one direction. But this thing's spinning around. If they hit it wrong, they could actually knock it into a pattern
to hit the Earth. To hit us. Has anyone questioned that part?
No, I have not heard that.
That would be a really sucky movie promotion.
By the way, I don't think this is going to have any effect at all. And it has to hit. They're not targeting this moon because it's spinning around. This rocket has its own. It's self-automated. It's like a self-driving car, adding a little more interest. I thought they'd pick up on that in the news stories. But it's a self-driving car. Once it gets to a certain point, it has to find the moon.
Oh, it has to go
and target it and drive into it.
The video is going to be great. All the CGI we get. That's the only thing, man. The CGI you can do with space crap is phenomenal because you'll believe everything because you've seen it all. You've seen the asteroid hurtling towards the Earth. Watch it Christmas. Yeah. How about your report? Is that the same? Was there anything different in there?
Yeah, no, mine was just another version of that. The best report, which I didn't record because it was too long, was from the NASA channel, where they discussed all the aspects of it, including then they showed like the thing spinning around the other asteroid and the self-driving car nature of the rocket.
Yeah.
It turns out that the rocket will come and hit one of the freeway barriers, like all the other self-driving cars from Elon Musk do.
Okay, we need to work on the material.
I couldn't work that.
We got to work on the material.
That was an ad.
It wasn't bad, but we need to work on it.
Well, but yeah, it could have been better.
If we just
talking about jokes, if we want to take a break, I finally isolated the "Who's on First" bit. The Abbott and Costello "Who's on First," so we could understand better the thing we were talking about from
you want to do that now? Or you want to do a little more news before we do this?
Well, let's do it before the break then.
Okay, because it'll be funny.
Well, it's amusing because it's the history behind this gag actually goes back pre-Abbott and Costello. It was done as various other "Who's the Boss" and all these other. Anything with the word "who" in is a reference to these old jokes.
Yeah, it's also racist.
Is it?
Yeah, who?
Who?
Who is going to be Chinese, of course, or Korean. So it's racist.
No. If you call it "who," is there any "who" Koreans? I don't think so.
Yeah, there should be.
That's racist.
There should be rooftop "who" Koreans. That's what it is.
I got an Ask Adam, which is kind of newsy.
Okay, righty. Newsy.
We go to this. There's two of them. There's the beginning and the end. This is about the January 6th investigations going on in Congress, and this is taken from the Shepard Smith newscast with Kelly Evans doing the news reading, and it's kind of interesting. Let's start with part one, and I'll ask you the question.
The House Select Committee is seeking documents and testimony from 5 more people, including Roger Stone, a high-profile ally of the former president who urged his supporters to defy the election results. In a statement, Stone told NBC he had no advance knowledge of the events that took place at the Capitol. Also, Alex Jones,
That's all right, I'm ready for the question.
Roger Stone was described as an ally of the president and some other stuff.
Yeah.
How is Alex Jones
connected?
Question, Adam. Mm-hmm. How is Alex Jones described by Kelly Evans on this news report?
How is he described by Kelly?
I'll give you some options. Is he a podcaster?
Yeah.
Is he a news personality? How is he described?
A conspiracy theorist podcaster.
Wow. Almost.
Okay, let's listen to the answer.
Also, Alex Jones, a conspiracy theorist who reportedly helped organize the rally that preceded the attack on the Capitol.
Okay.
In a statement, Jones wrote, quote, "Congress's attempt to chill ordinary Americans in the exercise of these rights is terrifying."
Yeah. What's funny is when these news people are doing a podcast, it's like, hey, catch my pod, my podcast. I've got the Toddcast. It's great podcast. It's really get into the issues we're talking about. But when you want to disparage someone, you go, podcaster. Am I right?
Well, she didn't call him a podcaster. She just called him a conspiracy theorist. And yes, you are right. They always disparage podcasting, and they do it in a kind of a snide way, like you just said. Yeah. But when they describe their own great pod,
their own great pod is the bomb. Yes. I wanted to give the producers a little piece of audio, and you can get it in the show notes under all the clips. 7 months of vaccine policy in under 120 seconds. And there's been different versions of this, and they at first I was like, I don't know if I like the music under it because it's a super cut. It's a mega cut, if you will. But when you listen to this specifically, and this just quote after quote after quote, it might help you in breaking some of the mass formation that some of your loved ones or friends and family are in.
You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
These vaccines are highly, highly effective.
Vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
Everyone who takes the vaccine is not just protecting themselves, but reducing their transmission to other people and allowing society to get back to normal.
Get your first shot, and when you're due for your second, get your second shot.
A key goal is to stop the transmission, to get the immunity levels up so that you get almost no infection going on whatsoever.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected.
If you're vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized, you're not going to be in an ICU unit, and you're not going to die. If you are fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
But what they can't do anymore is prevent transmission.
We didn't have vaccines that block transmission. We got vaccines that help you with your health, but they only slightly reduce transmissions. We need a new way of doing the vaccine.
The level of virus in the nasopharynx of a person who's vaccinated and infected is the same level as the level of virus in the nasopharynx of an unvaccinated person.
Reports from our international colleagues, including Israel, suggest increased risk of severe disease amongst those vaccinated early.
And if you look at Israel, which has always been a month to a month and a half ahead of us, they are seeing a waning of immunity, not only against infection, but against hospitalizations and to some extent death. A booster might actually be an essential part of the primary regimen that people should have.
Plan is for every adult to get a booster shot.
Clearly one of the best investments I've ever been involved in.
And there's video of it, too.
Well,
kind of shows you.
Clip.
What?
Since you played that clip, because it had the punchline of the best investment I've ever been involved in.
Yes.
I have a clip about the profits that are made. Let's see if I can find it. COVID profits, NPR.
The COVID-19 vaccines are making the pharmaceutical industry a lot of money. And while there are still millions more people to vaccinate and boost around the world, it's not clear exactly how long the boom will last. NPR Pharmaceuticals correspondent Sydney Lupkin reports.
This year, Pfizer expects to bring in $36 billion from worldwide sales of its COVID-19 vaccine. That would shatter the previous record in annual sales for a single pharmaceutical product, about $20 billion for the anti-inflammatory drug Humira, and make the Pfizer vaccine the best-selling pharmaceutical product ever. Moderna will deliver fewer doses, but is still expecting up to $18 billion in sales for the year for its COVID-19 vaccine. But the long-term measure of financial success for the company's mRNA vaccines isn't so simple. Here's Richard Evans of SSR Health, an investment research firm.
The benchmark Humira has been, churning out tens of billions of dollars a year for multiple years on end. And it's not entirely clear that the mRNA vaccines will do that.
Evans says that just because Pfizer and Moderna are selling billions of doses now doesn't mean that will last forever. The vaccines could work so well they eliminate the need for further boosters. Though it's also possible COVID shots could become routine, like flu shots. Still, Evans says the uncertainty puts a premium on maximizing sales now.
Man.
Maximizing sales
now, yeah.
Do you remember around March, April, May, probably of 2020, long before the vaccine, when I played more Democracy Now! Clips, and there was all these organizations that were forming in advance of the vaccine saying, we want these vaccines, they need to be free.
Yes.
They needed to be released, and there was all these organizations that cropped up. The free vaccines for the public. Everyone should get a free vaccine because it's so important. Because COVID, this is like your commentary about, things are so important. Let's put it off a month.
Yes, January 4th. Yeah, because the virus will wait. It's okay. The virus will wait for the mandates. It's fine.
And so there was the same thing. It was like we have to. This COVID is so deadly that it's imperative that the vaccine be developed and then be given to the public for free as a public service. Whatever happened to that idea?
Well,
$36 billion in profit from.
Well, I have some thoughts.
Money.
I have some thoughts. First, because they saw it going in the wrong direction and people developing heart issues. We just got to say it. It's not, even in the UK, they're now saying, hey, 2 more soccer players from the Premier League dropped on the field. Is anyone going to be brave enough to ask what's going on? So that's kind of sparking up. Turns out the mixing and matching of the vaccines may have been a very evil ploy, as I have now come to learn that breakthrough infections after a mix and match of vaccines are not counted as breakthrough because they can't tell which one caused the breakthrough.
What?
In Germany, this is in the news. Mixed vaccines in Germany not counted in breakthroughs.
So all along, first of all, let's do the timeline. When they first started off with these vaccines, it was critical that you didn't mix and match.
Not mix and match, that's right.
It was a big deal. No. You got to get this, and then you got to get the second one's got to be the same thing. And then out of the blue, months later, well, probably more than months.
It's July. It was July 1st is when we had hold on a second. July 1st was the first report.
And Eva, there's an unrelated new study out of the UK about mixing vaccines. What can you tell us about that?
That's right, Robin. So this study looked at mixing Pfizer and AstraZeneca, and it showed that mixing and matching the vaccine does work. But
okay. There you go. July. New study from the UK.
We had reports of people talking, then the term topping off.
Yeah, but wait. Right after that, the World Health Organization.
People who are thinking about mixing and matching. The World Health Organization's chief scientist on Monday advised against people mixing and matching.
There you go. So they came out and said in July, mixing and matching. Yeah, study looks good. World Health Organization, 2 weeks later, at least according to our clip timeline, do not do this. That will create deaths. And then Lena Wen, our friend Lena Wen, she comes back in October.
Well, I hope that when the FDA and CDC review data around Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, that they will allow a mix and match approach.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there was a bunch of other pro mix and match stuff in the public.
Yep.
And it was topping off was a term that came up. Well, if you had a Johnson & Johnson, you should top off with a Pfizer.
Which isn't even mixing and matching. That was like the boost.
There was a boost, but there was yes. They were using, if you had a Johnson & Johnson, they wanted you to boost, although they used the term top off because it has a nice sound to it. Except in California, where you're not supposed to top off your tank, by the way.
Yeah, you're not supposed to top off human beings in the UK.
So they topped them off with this other thing. And now if that's all part of a scheme to screw up the statistics, that's great. Wow.
Very smart.
This is genius.
Well, at the same time, in the Netherlands, the Dutch telecom regulator has raised issues with one of the talk shows on the public television, so that's run by the government. I think I told you that they had the Pfizer medical director of Holland. He's kind of the spokes guy now, going around all the talk shows, very similar to Scott Gottlieb, board member of Pfizer. And what they said is he gave so much information, so much solicitous information on this talk show that it sounded like he was actually marketing the Pfizer Paxlovid COVID pill. So when someone gets pulled back by the regulators because they think he's doing that, he's probably doing that. And the Paxlovid, we have a little more information, is a combination of Pfizer's investigational antiviral, PF07321332, and a low dose of ritonavir, an antiretroviral medication traditionally used to treat HIV. Hey, feeling good? According to an interim analysis, Paxlovid, I think it is, reduced the risk of COVID-19 associated hospitalizations or deaths by 89% in those who received treatment within 3 days of symptom onset. The drug was also found to be effective. Just 1% of patients who received Paxlovid were hospitalized. Okay. So that may be on deck because this is not working out very well. In particular, if you listen to the nurses, and I have two nurses they looked like nurses. They were dressed as nurses. They were at a protest, so they were angry about what's happening with their nursedom. And
why would they not be nurses? What kind of phony baloney is going to come out? I mean, it'd be nice unless it was a setup, so you could bust the setup and say, "Oh, look at these are phonies," and the vaccine is safe and effective.
Here is a nurse from Ontario. She'll be talking about the number of stillborns.
Yes, this is a good clip.
86 stillbirths between January and July. And normally it's only 5 or 6 stillbirths every year. So about 1 stillbirth every 2 months is the usual rate. So to suddenly get to 86 stillbirths in 6 months, that's highly unusual.
And she went on to say that every single one of the mothers was fully vaccinated. Correlation, perhaps. Causation, we don't know. New Zealand was a little more clear.
The bulk of the patients will be vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, you get segregated, you get put in a different part of ED, put into isolation. And people, I had one consultant on my last night. She stood in front of our big board with everybody, all the patients and all their symptoms, and she said, "What's going on? Why have we got so many patients? It's all cardiac, short of breaths, collapses, falls." And I just can say, tick, 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 this is adverse reaction. All of our wards are full. Of people having cardiac problems, people with flare-ups from their cancer, you name it. It's just, I guarantee our hospital is full of vaccine damaged. It's just, people are blind. People just cannot see it.
Mass formation. People are blind. People just can't see it, she says. It's crazy.
I know, it's fantastic.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization.
And by the way, there's nothing worse than a stillbirth.
Ugh.
And not only that, but it doesn't, women really don't, it really affects them because it's like they give birth to a dead baby. This is not something that takes forever to get over that. This is bad.
Some never get over it. And dads have issues too. It's not easy for families. It's horrible. Tedros says, in many countries and communities, we are concerned about the false sense of security that vaccines have ended the pandemic and that people who are vaccinated do not need to take any other precautions. No country or region is out of the woods. Right measures are in place to avert the worst consequences, now I'm getting German, of any future waves.
You had a good
for a second.
If
the pandemic idea, if I listened to him, I could do it.
If you listen to him and maybe practice for 5 minutes, so you could really nail it.
Yeah, well, there was no clip, but thanks for the advice.
You're welcome.
Okay, we got that. There was another nurse in Slovenia. I have a clip, but it's in Slovak, so I won't bore you with it. Now, she claims, and this is being played up as a scandal in Slovenia, she claims that, and she showed color codes on the vaccine labels, and there are codes 1, 2, or 3 in the digits in the code. And she had decoded these numbers. If you have a number 1 vaccine, that is the placebo, saline. If your vial has number 2 on it, that is the RNA. And number 3 is an RNA stick that contains the oncogene associated with adenovirus, which contributes to the development of cancer. I don't know if that's true, but I just wanted to put it out there. Sounds far-fetched, but again, it was one of those nurses looking like a nurse outside reading this, looking real worried about what happened.
Well, the adenovirus is the one that's used in the Johnson & Johnson shot. It's not unusual.
Oh, is it a known carcinogen?
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay. I don't know. What I do know is the new Botswana variant is coming. This is the one. This is the killer. 32 horrific mutations. Mm-hmm. And experts say it may have emerged in an HIV patient. I mean, they got a lot of HIV connected to this.
Go wild.
A lot of HIV connected to this. I'm telling you. It's a little crazy. Let's see.
Coincidentally, the new treatment from Pfizer will help that problem.
Yes.
Because it's got the HIV drug in it.
Yes. The German health minister,
coincidentally,
I don't think so. We just need to look around the world what's happening because they're locking down tight. Germany is considered going 1G, which would mean you're vaccinated.
Germany's got a screw loose. What's wrong with Germany?
Wahrscheinlich wird am Ende dieses Winters so ziemlich jeder in Deutschland, das wurde ja manchmal schon etwas zynisch genannt, geimpft, genesen oder gestorben sein.
Translation from the German health minister: by the end of the winter, German people will either be vaccinated, recovered, or dead. Those are your choices, Germany. And this was a shock that he said this. Europe is kind of like, whoa, what did he just say? And they don't know how to parse it, It's like, well, we're in all these lockdown conditions because they say it's so scary, and now he's saying we're going to die from it?
He didn't say how they're going to die.
Yeah, well, no, that's true. Let's go down under for a moment. The Chief Minister of Northern Territories, Australia, who, as far as I know, were having a jolly good time hanging out, roaming around. They could go to sports games. Well, that has been shut down and locked tight. And this guy, he was having none of it. You can't even say it.
If you are anti-mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. I don't care what your personal vaccination status is. If you support, champion, give a green light, give comfort to, support anybody who argues against the vaccine, you are an anti-vaxxer. Absolutely. Your personal vaccination status is utterly irrelevant. If you campaign against the mandate, if you campaign against people being vaccinated in vulnerable settings, teachers in classrooms, I'll be really clear. At that point in time, people were actually supporting the idea of a teacher being unvaccinated in a remote community classroom with kids who cannot be vaccinated. I reject that. I still reject it. And if you are out there in any way, shape or form campaigning against this mandate, you are absolutely anti-vax. If you say pro-persuasion, stuff it, shove it. We are absolutely going to make sure as many Territorians as possible are vaccinated. That is our best protection against this thing. And if you look at the Doherty modelling that's only come out since, that says if you double dose 80 in remote communities, 5 and up, I think you'll see our vaccine mandate is absolutely crucial to protecting lives, particularly Aboriginal lives. And I will never back away from supporting vaccines. And anyone out there who comes for the mandate, you are anti-vax.
What is wrong with him? And as if it's time to take that
just
back.
Just because someone speaks English doesn't mean that they have the same kind of thinking. Americans have a distinct form of thinking that shows up in situations like this as being a little different than what you get there in Australia.
It's like, let's take back the term anti-vax. If you wanted to mean that, fine. Who cares? It's like, oh, you're really harming me by, now I'm an anti-vaxxer, whatever. People call you that anyway. But these Northern Territories, they're serious. If you look at the videos of Aborigines who don't want this and they're hunting them down and is beyond coercion, it appears.
The Australians have been trying to kill off the Aborigines forever.
Finally, we have a chance.
Here's a new gimmick. Let's try this.
So what they're doing now is
they're going to burn the villages, too, if they won't take the vax?
Oh, yeah. They're going to burn that Ayers Rock and torch that fucker. They're using their version of the FEMA camps, the quarantine camps. They're open for business, and they're filling them up, even with people who are just in contact tracing.
Urgent action to escalate our response in these communities, immediately implementing a hard lockdown. That means residents of Binjari and Rockhole no longer have the 5 reasons to leave their home. They can only leave for medical treatment in an emergency or if required by law. It's highly likely that more residents will be transferred to Howard Springs today, either as positive cases or close contacts. We've already identified 38 close contacts in Binjari, and that number will go up. Those 38 are being transferred now. I contacted the Prime Minister last night. We are grateful for the support of about 20 ADF personnel as well as Army trucks to assist with the transfer of positive cases and close contacts and to support the communities.
So they're bringing in the Australian Defence Forces to transport close family and contacts to the quarantine camps. Man, I'm glad we have guns. This will be happening to us. I'm convinced of it. This is the plan. And New Zealand's even worse.
New Zealand's the worst.
Anyway, what is interesting is you saw the note from Sir Mark and Dame Astrid.
Yeah,
boots on the ground in Japan.
And you want to read it?
Yeah, I think we should, because what's interesting is their takeaway is masks work.
They've been huge masks fans since the get-go.
Yeah, well, Japan is a mask country. That's their culture.
Yeah, and a lot of Asia. If you travel a lot, you'd go there. Especially if you went during the fall. People would be wearing masks years ago. They wear masks. They wear masks when they're driving because of the pollution the
pollution. I remember it was mainly for the pollution back in the day. At least that's the way I saw it. Boots on the ground situation in Japan. Yesterday, there were 17 new cases in Tokyo, a city with a population of 30 million, and 150 cases for the whole of Japan. Population 120 million. So right there, I would say they probably are not using the dialed-up PCR test. So, maybe they just don't want to terrorize their people the way everyone else is doing. But he just returned from the UK yesterday, and he gave us a little rundown of what it takes. On arrival, it takes 3 hours to go through the entry process, which involves showing your papers, waiting in line, checking your vaccine papers, checking your pre-departure PCR test, getting a new PCR test, installing 3 government apps on your phone, checking all your app settings to give full access to your phone. Then you are released into a 14-day quarantine at home or in a hotel. No public transport from the airport, only private cars or special shuttle buses to designated hotels if you don't live in Japan. You must answer 3 track and trace calls a day with video and location on. And he says, compare this to the UK, where there was no check at Heathrow, only a lateral flow test with what you must order before you travel and take it 2 days after arrival. This may go some way to explain 30,000 cases a day in the UK, only 150 in Japan. Again, I'm just going to say, I think the PCR, if I went back in the show notes and I looked, you might see that Japan was a little more normal about that. But then, what else is going on is everyone still wears a mask in Japan. No ifs, no buts. You cannot go anywhere without one. Peer pressure is enormous, especially if you're a foreigner. The UK had pretty much given up on masks, except for the underground, where about 70 to 80% of people were wearing. He says the packed Five Guys I went to, Piccadilly Circus, no one had one on, only the staff. The vaccine program started late in Japan, July to August. About 70% were vaccinated in the first 2 months, so it's still strong across the nation. Ivermectin is approved for use in Japan, but Sir Mark thinks this is more to do with aftercare than reducing the spread. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think of course, mask is going to maybe help something when people are sneezing and snottering the flu around. I'm just not even really thinking you guys have any COVID there on the island at all. It's just not there. No one in or out. Hard to get in. No one wants to go. What do you think, John?
Yeah. You can't get in and you can't get out, and you got to be locked down for 14 days, and ivermectin's available.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Ziv pack or whatever that thing's called is all over the place. Zerverdo kit.
I'd like to know more about that. I'd like to know specifically about the ivermectin use in Japan.
Well, he's of the belief that this doesn't mean anything, but we're of the exact opposite belief because of reports, not because of what we know or of this and the science. If you go to ivmmeta.com and look at all the research.
Yeah.
And if you even go to the FDA site, they have another set of research, 75 studies being done on ivermectin, even though it's horse wormer. Why are they studying it so much? Hello.
Right.
Why did the guy who discovered it, the Japanese guy, want to do a study out of one of the schools and the Merck refused to do it? Yeah. I mean, this whole thing this ivermectin thing that's a real scam that's going to be exposed one of these days. There's no doubt in my mind about that. The scam is, of course, not using it. It's got it written all over it. It's just, there's too much information, man.
It's way too much information, man. Appreciate it, Sir Mark. I think I only have 2 more clips, I think. You got any COVID stuff you want to do?
I just had that one COVID clip.
Okay.
The one,
I wanted, this is kind of a cool, like a compendium almost. It's Scott Gottlieb, former FDA commissioner, on the board of Pfizer, total shill, CNBC. He's there all the time to hype up the stock. He's going to talk about the breakthroughs and the fix, and that will take us to the boosting.
Well, look, I think at this point we need to accept that there's a lot of breakthrough infections happening for people, particularly people who are out a significant portion of time from their original vaccination. And there are people out almost a year at this point, or coming up on a year, people who were vaccinated back in December and January. So there's probably more infection happening among the vaccinated population, more spread happening in that population, the unboosted portion of that population, than what we're picking up, because we're just not systematically tracking this. There's going to be retrospective studies that identify this, but we're not doing a good job of tracking this in real time.
Yeah.
And this is the argument for people to go out and get boosters. The effect of the boosters is almost immediate. Wait
a minute. Because they're not tracking
like $1 million.
Wait a minute. Because they're not tracking it in real time or effectively. That's the reason to go out and get a booster. That's what he's saying.
But we're not doing a good job of tracking this in real time. And this is the argument for people to go out and get boosters. The effect of the boosters is almost immediate. The original premise of the vaccine in terms of the 95% protection is restored. And the final point here is that I also think we're not making effective use of the antibody drugs. For people who are truly vulnerable, who are immunocompromised, who we know aren't going to develop a very robust immune response from the vaccine because they're on steroids or they're on chemotherapy, we could be using these antibody drugs as a prophylaxis to prevent them or reduce their chances of getting an infection or getting a severe infection. I know plenty of people who are doing this, sophisticated physicians
Slow down, less coffee.
But listen to what he's saying. Listen to this.
Reduce their chances of getting an infection or getting a severe infection.
But he's marketing, that's why.
I know plenty of people who are doing this, sophisticated physicians who are, unfortunately on chemotherapy or other immunosuppressants are doing this. The problem is it's not available to the masses. You have to be in the know to know that these drugs are available for that.
What this guy is now doing, he's saying sophisticated doctors, listen to the wording, sophisticated doctors are prescribing something off-label, which I'm sure is a Pfizer product. It could even be the Pfizer pill, because they kind of know, they're in the know, they know what they're doing, and only people who are in the know can get a hold of this, because it sounds a little bit like what we were doing with ivermectin, only somehow this in the know drug is not being outlawed.
Using these antibody drugs as a prophylaxis to prevent them or reduce their chances of getting an infection or getting a severe infection. I know plenty of people who are doing this, sophisticated physicians who are, unfortunately on chemotherapy or other immunosuppressants are doing this. The problem is it's not available to the masses. You have to be in the know to know that these drugs are available for that kind of use. Regeneron is making them available on a compassionate use basis. The FDA is currently considering an emergency use authorization, but we should be getting on the ball trying to make these available to immunocompromised patients.
So he's marketing.
Okay, tell us specifically what's he talking about. What doesn't he say?
I'm sure. Why doesn't he say the Pfizer pill?
No, why doesn't he say, well, is it the Pfizer pill?
I think that's exactly what he's talking about.
That's probably what it is, but
They didn't ask.
Hello.
They didn't ask. I know. It's
Thank
like,
you again,
holy
media,
crap.
for asking.
Holy crap.
If I was the guy doing the interview, although these are rigged, these interviews are fixed.
Yes.
They're
give me a number, man.
Ads.
Who do I call? Who do I get? How do I get in this club?
So the guy the interviewer would say, well, specifically, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just tell us specifically, because you're just generalizing here. Let's be specific. What exactly are you talking about?
Yeah,
name names. And and he either not do it, which he probably wouldn't, because I don't know. Since I'm a board member, I can't start promoting my own stuff. This is like the same guy who got busted in the UK you brought up.
In
it's the same
Netherlands.
thing. Where's our government?
Yeah.
This is bull crap.
What do you mean, where's our government? Go back and watch Dope Sick, everybody. I can teach you how it works with pharma and the government. 2 clips left. This is, we might as well get the words straight from the horse's mouth. I'm so sick of listening to the guy, but Fauci was on ABC.
Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla recently said there's a high chance boosters would be needed annually. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you believe it might be even sooner, like every 6 months?
We follow the data, and it's so easy to predict, Martha, about how often you would need it. We would hope, and...
Did he say it's so easy to predict?
Start over.
we follow the data, and it's so easy to predict, Martha, about how often you would need it. We would hope, and this is something that we're looking at.
How do you say it's so easy to predict and then say we would hope?
Well, this is the double speak of the week.
We follow the data, and it's so easy to predict, Martha, about how often you would need it. We would hope, and this is something that we're looking at very carefully, that third shot with the mRNA not only boosts you way up, but increases the durability so that you will not necessarily...
How does that work?
What
is this, a magic pill? How does it increase the durability? This guy is so full of crap. Why is he on the air?
Useful idiot.
Not only boosts you way up, but increases the durability so that you will not necessarily need it every 6 months or a year. We're hoping it pushes it out more. If it doesn't, and the data show we do need it more often, then we'll do it. But you want to make sure you get the population optimally protected, and you do whatever you need to do to make sure you do that. My hope as an immunologist, as an infectious disease person, that maturation of the response, increasing its strength and power, will be followed by a greater durability. That's what I'm hoping for. If it doesn't happen, we'll act accordingly.
This is a new term. Durability. We have never heard about the vaccine's durability, and I'm not even sure I know what it means. Durability. What does this mean? It's not efficacy, right? It's durability. Does that mean it lasts longer in the fridge?
For all practical purposes, that's what it means.
That's what I think.
Only your body's the fridge. So the thing is in there, and it's lasting, it's doing its job, whatever that is, and then it starts to do less and less of a good job, and it falls off. It's just not durable. I understand what it means. You know what it means. It means it's just what it really means is it's no good.
Yeah,
it doesn't work at all.
I'm only identifying that they're using a new term. So there's reasons why you use a new term, and durability is something that I think is easier to grasp. This is a marketing thing. It's a change.
Yes, to get you to take the booster.
Durability.
At the end of the clip, the only clip I had was the clip on sales, and at the very end it says we got to figure out some way to keep the sales going.
Well, let's talk to the head sales guy one more time. Scott Gottlieb, now on CBS Face the Nation.
The Labor Department's OSHA division said it's suspending enforcement of that Biden requirement to test or vaccinate business employees. We also saw Disney halt vaccine requirements in the state of Florida after the governor there said businesses can't carry out that kind of mandate. In both cases, you have the government telling businesses what to do. If you're a business owner, if you're an employee, I mean, what should you be doing right now?
Well, look, I think it's not inappropriate for businesses to mandate vaccines, and certain businesses absolutely should be mandating vaccination in their workplaces, healthcare settings where you can't protect employees with other tools other than to make sure that you can keep the infection out of that setting. So settings where you have a lot of employees working very closely together, it's hard to work in a masked environment in perpetuity. I mean, this is the unfortunate consequence of government officials getting into these private decisions. If we ultimately left these decisions to mandate vaccines up to states, local districts, private businesses, I don't think you'd see this be a political fight at a national level. Now it's become a political fight at a national level, unfortunately. You're going to see some governors trying to position themselves on this issue, like you've seen in Florida. And you're going to see the federal government, the Biden administration, now fighting those states and fighting to implement these OSHA rules. The end result is that I think businesses that were going to move forward on mandates have moved forward, and businesses that are reluctant to do it are probably going to wait in place and see what happens with the outcome of this litigation involving OSHA. By the time this lawsuit ends up getting resolved, probably will be through the surge that we're seeing right now, this Delta surge, and maybe on the back end of the pandemic here.
And for that, you will need to be fully vaccinated. That needs to be determined.
You've already seen governors in Connecticut and New Mexico say 3 doses is fully vaccinated. Should the CDC say you need a booster to be considered fully vaccinated?
I think at some point they're going to, but not this year. I think eventually this will be considered a 3-dose vaccine, but I would be hard-pressed to believe CDC is going to make that recommendation anytime soon, in part because of this debate about whether or not younger people who are at less risk should be receiving that third dose. In states where governors are looking to do this, and I think some local communities will do it, some businesses are probably going to do it quite soon. I think in cases where entities are going to mandate 3 doses for people who are 6 months out from the second dose, they're doing that because they're using the vaccine as a way to control transmission and try to end this pandemic.
Transmission?
There are people in the public health community who don't think that that's an inappropriate way to use the vaccine, but this is a debate that's going on right now in the public health community, and CDC's sort of stuttering approach to how they've embraced boosters is reflective of that debate.
Yeah, they just want the corporations to mandate it. Do it. 3 now.
Did you notice the little thing he slipped in there?
Which one? The 3-dose vaccine?
If it's a 3-dose vaccine,
then you need a 4th as a booster.
Yes, exactly.
Or a 5th.
Isn't that cool?
Or a 6th. And my question is, what's your number?
6th.
What? Yeah, what's your number? The pass sanitaire in France, now we know it expires 7 months after your second dose until you get a booster. And there's going to be a 4th, and there's going to be a 5th, and the 6th may be something that you don't really think is good for you. What's your number? What's your number, John?
My number is private, my own personal business. Butt out.
With that, I'd like to thank you for your private courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the sour crude, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John C. Dvorak.
Okay, so we're not going to do who's on first.
And here we go with who's on first. John, tell us about who's on first. Let's do it.
No, it's a timing thing. Let's do the
I'm sorry, I completely forgot. But we spent 20 minutes talking about Becky Worley. I wanted to make sure we got some news in.
Introduce the segment again so I can.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage to say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in sour crude, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John C. Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning to all ships at sea. Boots on the ground, feet in the air. Subs in the water. And all the dames and knights out there.
And in the morning to the trolls in the troll room. Let's get right to it and let's count these trolls. See how many we have today. All right, hands up, trolls. All right, hands up. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I figured it'd be a little low. 1625. That makes sense on a holiday. But we're here.
That's quite low, especially it's a holiday. People should be listening to the show.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Sunday.
What's wrong with them?
23.
They're not listening to the show. Well, this is
what I said in the newsletter. I think we're back to normal-ish. And we did have a kind of a slow day, which is one of the things that didn't happen during COVID. That 2020 was a banner year for everyone being around.
Yeah,
but this is normal. Everyone's taken off. They're on their cars. They're driving here and they're driving there, and paying $5.50 of gas out here in California, at least for premium.
I am completely happy with people being with their family, not listening to the live show, because I know that half of them will be listening to it during the football. Like, ugh, I hate football. And the other half will be listening to it drunk.
Nobody's listening to watching football saying they hate football.
No, well, the family's watching football. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't like football.
That's what I just said.
I think it was just you expressing your own feelings.
No, I love football. I love watching it.
Oh, no.
I love the Army-Navy game. I love the Super Bowl. I love, I'd like to see if anyone falls down from the vax. I don't really want to see it.
It happens in soccer.
Soccer is bad. Soccer,
I'm not
guys
sure
are
why
dropping.
It's not happening in our sports.
Because
a basketball player drop.
Listen, I'll tell you why. First of all, in Europe, the European Union, but it's happening in the UK. They're compliant and they do whatever they're told to do. The sports teams, the franchises in the United States, let's just think about it logically for 1 second. You and I own a football team, an NFL football team. We are multi-billionaires, all right? We have wives, but we got wives who have wives. We got everything. We got planes. We got everything's happening. And we're going to risk these assets with some crazy vaccine that we know nothing about? Millions of dollars each individual player? No way. Get the saline. I don't believe they're vaccinated at all.
Well, if that were true, you'd have to explain the situation with Kyrie Irving.
He has a turf toe. Oh no, that's Rodgers. That's Rod. What Kyrie? Well,
he's the basketball player. That
I know, but I don't think the players know. The players can't know. The owners know. The owners.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying it's like a deep conspiracy where they're shooting these guys up.
Why would you? These players are worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
And so
you're not going to jab them. Get your franchise. You're not going to jab them. No way. Do the players
they find ways to get them steroids that are all totally illegal, and they're all roided up.
Yeah. So, but in the UK and in Europe, they're dumb. They're dumb. They don't get it. They bought into it. Listen, if you and I had a team, I know we'd have had that conversation. With the outcome, I don't know, but I'd say a high likelihood.
I think if you and I,
yes,
knowing what we know and knowing but we do a lot of research, but knowing what we know, and I'm sure a lot of these guys like Robert Kraft who own the Patriots.
These are anti-vax guys to start with.
These guys are they're pretty skeptical about stuff like this.
How much money?
I'm sure you could arrange it.
Yep.
You could arrange it to get a bunch of saline shots repackaged.
No, you just get the COVID with the number 1 ID number. Don't take the two or don't take the 3. Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever the case is, they're dropping like flies, but not here.
Anyway, we do want to thank the trolls for being here, the ones who are here, and thank everybody who is joining in the conversation at noagendasocial.com, which is a Mastodon social network, no algos. It's connected to the Fediverse so that anybody from anywhere can come in, get the flow out. All you have to do is follow someone over there, and even if you boost a post, then it all starts flowing.
You got
to boost the post. Follow Adam at noagendasocial.com or John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com. On Mastodon, it's easy. It's free. It should be free everywhere. You can always set up your own instance and make it work. It's beautiful. We have some people to thank we need to thank our artists for episode 1401. We titled that Boost or Based. And this is a very controversial piece that Tante Neil did. Tante Neil, which was the beautiful Dutch Delft's blue tile.
Yeah.
With a Dutch boy masked throwing a bicycle.
Yeah, this is a piece you identified and promoted.
I did, and some Dutch person on Twitter took offense to it and started threatening my daughter.
What?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, Curry, you think that's funny? Well, we know where your daughter lives. See if you think that's funny." And I reported it to Twitter, and of course they said, "Sorry, no violation here."
That's a threat.
Of course, it's a threat. And they said, "No, that's not a threat." What's
the reason for his complaint?
That apparently we were glorifying protests, which I don't think we've ever done.
What?
Yeah, I'm just telling you. This is crazy. People are going nuts, man.
This was a very pretty piece. It was a Delft tile, which is a type of tile that's done in the town of Delft.
Well, it's the Delft blue, and if I recall correctly, the reason tourists in the 70s used to just buy up as much as they could. It was really expensive. It was, I got a tile. There's something about the color, I believe, of the blue that was made with
which is called Delft blue.
Yes, Delft blue. They're made with some ingredient only, specific to the Delft process. And people used to be crazy about it. I don't know if they still are, if it's still a collectible thing, I don't think it's that identifiable with Holland anymore the way it was. So for me, it was nostalgic. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
and I like you put a bike in there, just throwing
the bikes in there, and the Dutch and the stupid wooden shoes, and the little guy's got a mask on.
The wooden shoes aren't stupid. They're very useful for cows not stepping on your feet.
Yeah. Okay. Steel-toed shoes work too for that kind of thing. They're very hard to walk in.
Well, you have
some
to have
of them are huge.
No, John, that's the tourist shoe you stood in with 2 feet. No, they're not difficult to walk in, but you need to have the gray wool socks. I think they're goat hair. Actually, that's the proper sock. You got to have really thick ones to wear the wooden shoes.
You have a pair of wooden shoes at the house?
I used to.
Bull crap.
Yeah. Oh, when I was a kid, we walked in wooden shoes sometimes. When I was kid, young, not anymore. Then they came out with the clogs, and I was like, that's ugly.
Anyway, there's a lot of art that was potential here. We could have used. It was I liked the piece from Kenny Ben, which had a running turkey and a head chopping thing and a thing. The problem with that piece is it's a stolen art.
Oh, that's right. We looked at it, didn't we? We checked it.
Yeah, I was going to pick the piece because it was probably one of the prettier pieces. It had some action going and a lot. And then I looked it up. It's a T-shirt art somebody had developed. Now, it's possible that because Kenny Ben is a professional, I believe.
It might have been his to start with.
His or hers.
Yeah, this was the live or die, the booster based. He had the whole thing in there.
Yeah, it's a she, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
Isn't
yes,
that Kendra?
Yes, she. I'm sorry.
You're misgendering people.
I'm sorry.
But that I just didn't feel it was probably technically usable, but I didn't feel comfortable with it. So, and I felt the same way with the comic strip blogger had a rooster. I know he didn't draw that rooster, or I'm sorry, not rooster, turkey. There's no way. So those didn't get picked, and I would like to inform artists that, you can do most of your stuff. I mean, Roundy did a piece which wasn't that exciting, but he had 2 hands and pulling a wishbone, and his hands are. I'm pretty sure those are the ones. I'm sure he drew those. I don't think he used clip art. To be honest about it, I'm sure he has plenty of hands around. And there was nothing else that was that.
Did he have that?
Dynamite.
Did he have that on the previous episode?
The Happy Thanksgiving with the wishbone?
Roundy? Yeah,
it was there.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Well, we had already. I recall we had agreed on the Kenny Ben, and I was already making different sizes until you were going to research it, and then you said no, it's too blatant, this one, something like that.
Yeah, it was a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Somebody has a T-shirt with that thing around it.
Yeah.
So no, that was eliminated, and I would dissuade future use of some clip arts if you're not really doing something, or you own the clip art. But that clip art was on a T-shirt. I didn't see it for sale. Now it's possible. Most artists have a lot of clip art. They just buy it, and you can use that. That's legal, and it's possible this was legal. But since there's no way of knowing. We just went with the other piece, which was actually somewhat more creative. Adam was all jacked up about the Delft piece, and
yes,
I was not. But then after a while, I decided it was the most creative of the pieces, even though it resulted in a threat of life.
Well, there's your creative briefing, everybody. Thank you for participating in this round of Get the Album Art for the No Agenda Show. It is a very important piece of the value for value model that the No Agenda Show maintains. Employs, thank you. Time, talent, treasure. And this is some big talent and time, too. People have to do this when they're listening to the show live because we post-produce pretty quickly, get it out within 30 minutes usually.
Around 30 minutes is about what it takes. Now, I will say this. If you're an artist listening to this show, because you're listening to the live stream, I can't think of anything better to do with your time than
doodle around.
It amounts to doodling to a professional. Let me just, because what else are you going to do? You could knit. It seems to me that the artists have got, this is like a great thing to do while you're listening to the show, which is do something other than sit there passively.
Yeah, really. Why should we even thank him? I mean, we're doing him a favor, really.
Screw him.
Tell him to Neil, thank you so much. And check out all of the artwork that we discussed and a couple more as Dreb Scott puts the chapters together. You have to do it on a new podcast app, which will also help protect and extend podcasting, newpodcastapps.com. Now, on to our treasure supporters for episode 1402. We have a nice list, and I will kick it off with Dame Damie from Healdsburg, California. Oh, is this our wine dame?
No.
It's a different dame. In the morning, gents. Oh, jingles. Orange Scream, China's Ass-Ho. Switcheroo and split between two and a B-Day list. Please credit $611.57 to my husband, Chris Spalding, in honor of his 34th birthday. Alas, he can find... Alas.
Alas.
But alas, isn't it like sadly?
No, alas. Well, it's funny when you say ask that, because alas does have a kind of a sadly kind of a feel to it.
I thought alas he could not attend. And so this is alas, he can finally join his dame at the round table. I guess it means at last. Alas.
I don't know what. Yeah, it was. Got a lot of.
Well, it sounds like she's sad. It sounds like she's sad. She's joining him.
It also means finally.
Okay.
So now it's kind of finally he can finally.
I'm going to think she wants him there. Please knight him, sir. Crush a lot of Sonoma wine country. The remaining $153.86, please credit towards the damehood of Marianne, mom-in-law of the Monterey Peninsula. Please give her a proper de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Now, we do it on the honor system, Dame Damie, so you can track all of that.
You do your own counting. Please.
Roundtable request, Damie's braised beef raviolis and smoke wagon. Happy birthday to the keeper of my heart. Oh, there is no better gift to myself than to elevate you to knighthood, so my purse is no longer holding your seat at the round table. Kidding aside, I could not ask for a better partner in life. Cheers to the best that is yet to come.
Orange! China is asshole!
There you go. That's the kind of birthday wishes I love to hear.
Andrea Cody's next on the list from Houston, Texas. She writes, and that's $500. And she writes, I would like to invite you to a party. Well, that's a funny note, yeah. That would not exist were it not for No Agenda. I was hit in the mouth in 2020 by my producer friend, Eva Shea. Karma be upon her. No Agenda provided data and insight that confirmed my conviction that the whole thing was a scam, which gave me the confidence to create jobs for Houston dancers that were otherwise being hit hard by the fear-mongering.
Wait a minute. Are we helping the dance community?
It seems like, and not only that, but these are the high-end, this seems like the ballet dancers that she's talking about.
Yeah.
As opposed to the dancers I always associate with Houston, which is a slightly different group of dancers.
Mm-hmm.
Calling all No Agenda producers, you are cordially invited to the Nutcracker Party.
Oh.
It's a Christmas family special of the famous holiday show. It's available on Vimeo and Amazon Prime Video from $1 for $1.99. Dance Houston tells the classic tale with the new moves. This thing just jumped out here with the new moves. The new moves to Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite, rearranged as hip-hop, Latin, country, reggae, and more.
It's the Nutcracker Hamilton.
Exactly. It's a Nutcracker Hamilton.
I love it.
The amazing soundtrack is also available on all music streaming platforms. ITM Jets, I started listening in 2011 and haven't missed an episode. That's a while. It's a decade. Wow. And haven't missed an episode since. It is truly the best podcast in the universe, and it seems to be doing some good for this community of dancers, and this is proven by the what's going on, and you can check it out on is it Amazon Prime.
Yeah, what's it called again?
It's called Nutcracker Party.
Nutcracker Party. Here's one of the dancers.
Straight from Reseda, here here she is, Raven. Give it up.
And here's the karma to bestow upon her.
You've got karma.
I think I may watch that. Ella.
Yeah, I'm sure it's interesting.
Ella Kopistecki, 334. Happy Thanksgiving, John and Adam. Today is my 34th birthday. It's also my Dame Day. Hey, hey, accounting attached. I have forced kismet. I'd be like to known as Dame Noodle Nuker. Dame Noodle Nuker. Blowing minds one day at a time. And I'd like to request a bottle of Robert Sinsky Blanc and thinly sliced prosciutto at the round table.
Is there any other kind?
Of the prosciutto or the Blanc?
Of the prosciutto.
Are you familiar with the Robert Sinsky Blanc?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Is it what's so special about it?
I've never had it. I can't say.
I hope you both have a glorious day celebrating with your families. Love is lit. No jingles, no karma. And we shall see you at the round table. And I will have your Robert Sinsky Blanc and thinly sliced prosciutto.
Brian Burgess in Pelican Rapids, Minnesota, 333.33. ITM, gents, I started listening in 2011. Another 2011 listener. This is interesting. There's your random number at work.
Yeah.
And haven't missed an episode since. It's truly the best podcast in the universe. Another coincidence. Today's donation brings me to knighthood accounting below. What better way to get my knighting than on Turkey Day? Tofurkey Day. Tofuki Day. Whatever. You know what it is. We know what you're talking about.
We know what he's talking about.
If you please, I'd like to be knighted as Sir Minnesota Sticks. I'd also like to request Creighton and Clonies.
I think it's Creighton and Clonies, like Klondikes, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Kratom is the drug.
And some Clonies to wash it down, yeah.
Jingle request, Biden hold load, whoopee, get out of my vagina, wash your hand after touching any raw meat. That's true, and two to the head.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Get out of my vagina. Get out of
ridiculous.
Get out of my vagina.
And wash your hands after touching any raw meat.
That's true.
I screwed up the two to the head. Sorry. I can still shoot you. Thank you, Brian. Dame G Money, 333.33. This year, more than ever, I am grateful for Adam, JCD, and all the producers in Gitmo Nation. Thank you for your courage. R2D2 Karma, please. Thank you very much, Dame G Money.
You've got karma.
Sir Carey's Viscount of Greater Boston, 333.33. ITM Jensen, thank you for your courage. Happy Thanksgiving and karma to all producers. Few jingle requests, which include get vaccinated, Obama, you might die, and a Hillary laugh. There's another little story. Thank you for all you do, Sir Carey's Viscount of Greater Boston.
You might die.
That wasn't the one. That wasn't the one I expected, but that's what you get. Oh, and a little bit of karma to all the producers, of course.
You've got karma.
Paxton Sanders, 333.33, Madison, Alabama. My birthday falls on Thanksgiving this year, just as it did on the day I was born 50 years ago. Ha ha. It's been a while since I became a knight. I hope this donation makes amends. Of course, I'm thankful for my wife and children, and all the karma is for them. Karma for them.
You've got karma.
And we move to Andrew Johnson, KI7YLG73s in Tigard, Oregon, 333.33, and he has a card.
I think it's Andrea
Johnson.
Johnson.
Actual card
it's a
copy.
she. It's a she. It's Andrea Johnson.
Oh, Andrea. I saw it said
Andrea. Yeah.
Oh, Andrea. Well, that's funny. I'm being sexist.
Yes, you're being very sexist. You misgendered her, dude.
I did. I misgendered her. I apologize for that. It's the worst thing you can do to anyone. And
pretty much.
And I just stupidly assumed that because I didn't even think of reading the name correctly. I think I was pushed into it by the fact that you're a ham, who I always associate with men. And that's Very sexist of me.
Yes, very wrong.
Happy 1400th episode. It's a late donation. It has to be a woman.
There's the Dvorak we all love and know. There he is. All right. Thank you. You've made amends. You're good.
Can I get a big round of jobs karma for all the people who are jobless because they decided against accepting the vaccine into their lives? I love the show, she writes. Andreas, KJ7. Well, this is KJ. I said K. Oh, it is KJ. KJ7. YLG73's Newburgh, the People's Republic of Oregon.
Yes, 73's Kilo 5 Alpha Charlie.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
I do not believe we have a note from Dan Bull.
I don't believe we do either.
He's in Olive Branch, Missouri, 333. We thank you very much for that, Dan. He's our last executive producer for this Thanksgiving episode number 1402. Our first associate is Dweezil from Detroit. Dweezil, that's right. The Dweezmeister, a.k.a. the Dweezis of Hazardous. $250, Detroit, Michigan. In the morning, dear Mr. Curry, Mr. Dvorak. Dweezil in Detroit here. I'm making a donation to be officially de-douched and to grease the rails of forgiveness from Mr. Curry. Well, let's de-douche first.
You've been de-douched.
It seems that I inadvertently had a Bo Jiden moment at the Michigan Local 1 meetup after a couple of pops and mistook Adam for another 80s, 90s long-haired icon in the process, and while doing so, gave my shout-out. I have no idea what he's talking about, but alcohol was involved, apparently. I was recently punched in the mouth in August by my friend Steve in Ferndale. I anxiously await each episode. You shouldn't be anxious. You should be anticipatory. I anxiously await each episode, and I'm excited to begin my journey to knighthood. Well, you're on your way. I do need to call out Duncan and Roseville for being a douche at this time. Douchebag. In this season of giving, I would like to give jobs karma to all producers and listeners facing the mandates and some jingles to get us by in the ways of Noodle Boy and Much Resist. Thank you very much for your courage, gentlemen, and happy holidays. Dweezil, a.k.a. Dweezis of Hazardous. Yes, you want a noodle gun and a little bit of sharp and resist and the jobs karma.
I'm gonna shoot you in the face with my noodle gun, you racist piece of shit. I got my pasta Glock locked and loaded.
But resist, we must, and we will much about that be committed.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Anonymous comes in at 23456. A fave. Please keep me anonymous. Okay, we just did that. Thanksgiving greetings, Crackpot and Buzzkill. Would you please play the following jingles? The Jill Abramson vocal fry, fact check false, orange, and stay safe, followed by an R2D2 health karma. Thanks for keeping me anonymous.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. It's two times in this program that orange has been requested, and months and months and months have gone by without that.
Obviously, I read the New York Times like all day long, mainly on my iPad app.
Fact check false.
All right.
Good to see you. Please stay safe.
You've got karma.
Okay, let's see. We got Cheryl M. from Loomis, California, 23333. In the morning, Adam and John. So, hoping this makes Sunday's show, 1401. Well, this is Thursday's show, 1402, for a birthday shout-out to Travis M. celebrating his 27th on the 23rd. 2 days late, but here we are. He's the greatest douchebag boy any mom could ask for. Thanks for hitting me in the mouth, son. I submit this donation as a birthday gift to him, requesting his de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
This is a great mom. I would also like to request some vaccine mandate karma for the boy so he can keep his much-beloved job at the Shut Up Slave Railroad. If you could please play OMG, Listen to That Horn clip in honor of my Fomer boy. I know I've asked for a lot, but believe me, he's worth it. Thank you for your bi-weekly therapy session. Now, that's a nice mom who does stuff like that.
Oh, my
Listen to that horn!
Beautiful.
Huh. All right. We've got Sir Mark of the Midwest with $202.11 and an extremely long note.
Well, he has basically a report, which I don't think is.
Yeah, I think we'll just read the okay. Boots on the ground report. COVID restrictions in San Francisco. Well, I'm here. Background: I'm 63 years old, live in the Midwest, and have been in the meat industry for 40 years. We have no other meat experts. I recently accepted a job with a software startup. That makes sense around here.
Well, he's no longer a meat expert then.
Yeah, we lost our meat expert.
Our meat guy. That was him. We lost him.
I would like an explanation to the popularity of single muscle butchery, which is the trending thing in all the high-end meat shops.
Single muscle. Well, you have Mitch the meat cutter, so he might be able to answer that.
Mitch might help.
Mitch the meat cutter.
I need some write-ups on this. Why it's become so popular.
What is this? What is going on with this?
Well, this is where instead of, for example, with a chuck roast, if you have a chuck roast and you see it, like, say you have a big chuck, and you look at it, you'll see there's a number of different like muscles in there. It cuts across a bunch of muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when you're eating a chuck roast, you have, this is a really tender piece. The tenderness varies on something like a chuck roast because of its nature, which has maybe 5 or 6 different muscles within the crosscut. It's a crosscut. Single muscle butchery only cuts out the individual muscles. So you would have, like, you get that, whatever that long strip is that's within the chuck steaks, one long tender strip of something. I don't know what it's called, but they have different names. It has a whole different name nomenclature. And it's a whole different way of cutting meat, but that people seem to prefer, or some people do. But it costs more, which is probably why people are doing it.
There's probably more that isn't usable after that. Maybe.
I
don't know.
We need a meat expert. I can ad lib, but I can only get so far.
All right. Well, Mitch the meat cutter can probably tell us.
I recently accepted a job. Continues our guy. I recently accepted. I don't have his name in front of me.
Sir Mark of the Midwest.
I recently accepted a job with a software startup in San Francisco directly related to the meat industry. Oh, okay. Well, there's a connection.
We're back. He's back.
We're back. The president. We should read these in advance. The president of the company is in his early 30s, which is typical, and the entire company is woke. Of course, San Francisco. Come on. My reason for taking the job and creating this crazy situation are quite entertaining, but not relevant to the boots on the ground report. Okay.
Well, he has quite a long story about how he circumvented some mandates, which is just a little bit long. But Mark, let us know about the single muscle cut, cross muscle. What did you call it? Cross muscle cut?
Single muscle butchery.
Single muscle butchery.
Yeah.
Well, if he's working at a meat industry software company, he'll be 3D printing some soy pretty soon, is what I'm thinking.
Now that you mention it, what else could it be?
Right?
Yeah.
Now we got an interesting guy.
3D printing.
Yep. Your meat.
Single muscle. This will be single soy.
Single soy with a side of cheap cheddar. Yummy. All right,
anyway, I'll just read this last graph, which says the night of our meeting, we all attended the San Francisco Giants playoff game at Oracle Stadium. It would be, which has been a while ago, it would be the ultimate test of vax mandate chicanery. By the time we walked into the stadium, visiting several bars, including one long I was ready, I presented my Iowa concealed carry permit as ID and flashed my trusty Alibaba receipt and was promptly waved through. No jingles, no karma.
Okay, so he has some. I'm going to have to go back and read this. It sounds like he has an interesting way to circumvent. Vaccine
he shows
passport.
A piece.
Yeah, exactly. Basically flashes his gun. I'm going to give you goat karma for that. Thank you very much, Sir Mark.
You've got karma.
I'll do these two. Anonymous 20102, a palindrome. Thank you. In the morning, no jingles, no karma. Also, I hope you do find your exit strategy.
Because you suck.
But but you would also keep doing the show. Well, that's not much of an exit now, is it? I mean, the whole point is the holidays, the Sundays, the constant grind, the numbness that you receive from
what
watching.
Numbness are you getting? I think
you
better
watch
go check
MSNBC all day, and you're trying to follow what's going.
You watch MSNBC, I don't.
It's mind-numbing. Samantha Hoffman, associate executive producer, $200. Please credit my husband, Brandon, Pinball Wizard of the Freak Show, with this donation in honor of his birthday on Friday. Let's go, Brandon. I'm sure he's hating that shit right now. Brandon, okay. I was hoping to request a "Let's Go Brandon" jingle. Oh, well, maybe we're right in the right spot here. But I don't recall hearing any. I have one. Maybe someone with talent can create one. Until then, can one of you say "Let's Go Brandon" followed by the kazoo? Thank you for everything you do. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season. Sincerely, from Sammy. No, I actually have. Where is it? It's I have 2 kids doing that. Yes, here we go. This will suffice.
Let's go, Brandon!
It's cute. I like that one.
It is kind of cute.
Yeah, she's got a cute little voice on her.
You have your kazoo handy?
Yeah. Okay. Do you have your kazoo handy?
No, I don't know where my kazoo is.
Oh man,
I got the slide whistle for accompaniment.
No. We just she just wants the kazoo. Let's not overproduce.
Let's go, Brandon!
Okay. Onward with who we have here?
Lindsay Fox.
Lindsay. Lindsay's here. Lindsay Fox, $200. She's in Thorpe, Wisconsin. Not Thorpe. Hi, TM. So many good things to be thankful for the past year. And what a year. What a year it was. Yet we persevered, learned a little bit about standing up and speaking out. And we're all still here fighting the good fight.
Oh, the Nolachek Meats family. Yes, of course.
Oh, the Nolachek. Yeah. We just had the bacon, by the way, they have is absolutely fantastic. And the regular, they have all these. We went through all their meats except a couple.
They only do pork, though, right? They don't do beef. I think they only do pork. Am I wrong?
I don't know. You might not be.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Well, they do that beef stick.
My favorite, the beef stick.
Yeah, they do sticks. Those sticks. The people in Wisconsin eat those things.
Mm-hmm. Meat on a stick is great.
Their bacon is outstanding, and so is their stock. They have all this cheese-filled broths.
No, they definitely do beef. I'm sorry. They got it. They got cheese. They got sausage, bacon, ham, specialty meats.
Yeah.
Damn.
Anyway, go. They're fighting the government now. Go buy their stuff by mail order. Anyway, we persevered. An update regarding Nolachek's meat. The case with the USDA, FIS Notice 44-21. Our story reached the Liberty Justice Center, a non-profit constitutional law firm, and we are working with them to move forward with litigation. This is the same law firm that received the indefinite stay on the vaccine mandate in the Fifth Circuit Court.
Oh, good. You got the right guys and gals.
You got the right guys. So onward and upward. Wishing the entire No Agenda Nation a happy Thanksgiving. And thank you, John and Adam, for bringing us the best damn podcast in the universe. Jingles. You've got Karma. And if you're looking for Wisconsin brat sausage or the best bacon, by the way, the bacon is stunning. This holiday, and it's got a nice hickory flavor. It's not overdone. It's very good. Visit NolachekMeats.com to shop from the comfort of your home and receive a commemorative ornament with each order.
I'm going for that. I'm going to pick up on that item. Asterisk, some restrictions may apply. Please visit website for details. We just got our freezer, so we're going to order. We just got our freezer.
Oh, you bought it. Finally got a Texas-sized freezer.
16 cubic foot? 16?
I don't know. I can't.
16
We have a couple of freezers.
You can put a cow in.
Oh, if you can put a cow in, that's the right size.
Got to chop its head off, though. Otherwise, it won't fit.
Now, is it a horizontal, vertical, or you just dump stuffing?
It's the one with the lid that opens from the top.
Oh, okay. So then you put stuff in it. You know, I have a couple of those.
It's the kind that kids get in and die. That's the kind?
Well, you can kick the door open pretty easily. They're not the old-fashioned locking kind.
I'm just kidding. It had that sticker on it. Kids, don't sit in here.
But to be honest about it, I've got two of these kind of things where you open from the top. The stuff starts to very slowly gravitate toward the bottom. You never get it out.
Yeah, but
if you can get a big vertical one,
you don't know my wife.
Well, maybe
she will. There's nothing going to be stuck at the bottom like the Dvorak's. No.
We got stuff stuck at the bottom.
We got it from
so
Costco.
You have to take the whole thing out every once in a while. Oh my God! I knew I bought this thing. I knew I bought this duck. It's at the bottom.
And then do you still cook it up?
Well, it depends. You open it if it's all freezer burned and damaged, but most duck is pretty nicely wrapped. So it's pretty tight.
Well, why don't you go answer the
these
phone?
Are our associate executive producers for show 1402. I want to thank each and every one of them for helping us out on this show. And I'm going to go find out who's calling me. It says desperately calling me.
Professional podcasters, like the Toddcaster with his pod, they turn off their ringer when they do their podcast. But no,
I know.
You're putting us in the podcaster group, making us look all unprofessional.
Oh, what an amateur.
Thank you to these executive and associate executive producers. And happy Thanksgiving to you. We give thanks to you. You give thanks to us. It's the value for value model. It has kept us going, and we'll be able to continue doing this as long as the value flows in both directions. And we'll thank more people in a little bit. If you'd like to be an executive producer or even an associate executive producer, just go to this website.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thank you for bringing your time, talent, and treasure for episode 1402 of No Agenda.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
We should probably give a little bit of Thanksgiving advice for everybody when you got the family coming over. Let's say like you're really worried about the COVID. You've been hearing all this advice that's been given on TV?
No.
Yeah, it's really good. Here's ABC.
What are the general safety rules for 2021?
Well, I think first acknowledge that there are people with considerable amounts of stress this holiday season about the pandemic. This is our second Thanksgiving during the pandemic. So there are some steps that I think people can take. And the tests, as you mentioned, are really number one because they're much more readily available. They can be kind of pricey. They can be about $24 in most retailers for 2 tests. But the tips really to kind of increase that safety buffers, yes, you can ask people to do these rapid tests right before they come into your gathering or party. Masking, obviously, when not eating or drinking, especially if people are high risk or if they feel more comfortable. Distancing when possible. So maybe you're not going to cram people in around the table like we used to. And then lastly, if you use these tests and you get a positive result, believe it. Act on the positive and do not go in or stay home, obviously, if you're feeling sick with anything, not just COVID.
So do it before. Don't make it like part of the
No, exactly. No, it's not for the dessert.
Now, this is interesting because...
Where did you get this clip?
It's ABC.
These people should be ashamed of themselves.
It's Good Morning America. Dr. Jen
they're
Ashton.
Just promoting fear.
Well, not only that, but this test, they're talking about the Binax test that's made by Abbott Labs. And this is now becoming a thing. They're pushing it, and people are really enjoying the idea of. Tina went somewhere end of last weekend, and it was going to be 15 people, and so they all agreed that because some were nervous that you would get a test, and it's $14. I don't know why she said 24. That's interesting. Maybe the price is going up. There's 2 tests in it, and it's, you stick it in your nose, you swirl it around, you jam it in the thing, and it has 2 lines, just like a pregnancy test, and it says COVID or not COVID. And people are completely accepting of that result. I mean, you could have put it in the dog's nose. I mean, you could do anything. You could do it from home. It's completely spoofable, but this is becoming a cultural thing, specifically with the Binax from Abbott Labs. I'm not quite sure.
It's marketing.
But it's good because if it's not a PCR, you don't have to go through the so-called official lab test.
I'm sure the validity is mediocre.
No, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Paid to have that spot. I'm guessing this was a native ad.
Yes, it is. But I'm trying to understand or trying to see if you're curious why they are moving away from the laboratory official test, and will we soon be able to just bring our $24 Abbott lab test to the airport? Will they always, or would they have a proctor service? You know what I'm saying?
They have to watch you do it. They can't just have you come in with a little tab.
But people are already now, they're getting them used to this. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I'm just identifying things that are out of the ordinary.
I think it's just possible that they would have the instant thing there. You give them $20. Sounds like another way of making some cheap money.
Yeah.
You can be tested at the airport. How long does it take for to get the results?
About 10 minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We need an Insta test.
You and I could make one very easily. It's a test. We just market it. Apparently, they'll as long as you can buy the ad space, you can put anything on the market.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Hey, there's
money to be made.
I got an interesting note about this Belarus Poland thing.
Yeah,
and part of it was actually was an article that these immigrants who the Iraqis who have been, who fly into Belarus, then try to get across the border. They're just flying home now that it failed, which is kind of suspicious for refugees.
Gee, you think?
Refugee migrants. And from what I understand, this is Erdogan. Erdogan is the one sending the refugees. And I'm not quite sure how all the dots fit together. But
that may be why he's in the outs right now.
Well, there's yes, and listen to what's happening to Turkey.
Joe, yeah, we have some charts that you don't see that often. Turkey providing the world a lesson this morning of what happens when a central bank loses its independence. Take a look here. The Turkish lira crashing this morning against major currencies after Turkish President Erdogan applied pressure on the central bank to cut rates, and the central bank, of course, complied several days ago. It now takes, what is it now, 12 point something. That's going down. Now I'm looking at it the other way. 12.7 Turkish lira to buy $1. As recently as September, it was around 8 and change. Now, this one you don't see often either. The central bank has cut rates by 400 basis points or 4 percentage points since September, while inflation has risen from 8% to nearly 20%. They don't usually go their separate ways on policy rates and inflation. The largest move in the lira since the previous central bank chairman was dismissed back in March, and it comes after Erdogan called for lower rates. He said in an interview overnight, "I reject policies that will contract our country, weaken it, condemn our people to unemployment, hunger, and poverty." Erdogan said he wants a lower exchange rate to spur exports and investment. Of course, it means higher inflation and sharp declines in people's standard of living as foreign goods become dramatically more expensive. A place where, remember that, Joe, when I lived in Moscow, you'd go to work in the morning, a Snickers was 25 rubles, and then it would be 50 when you got back home.
I hesitate to use the term, but let's unpack this. What the hell is going on with the lira? I mean, is he trying to inflate his way out or deflate? I mean, do you have any idea what's happening?
I have no idea. I've been trying to follow it. I understand what's going on. There's something's amiss.
Now I know that they're on deck to buy the S-400 anti-aircraft guns from Russia.
That could be part of it.
And so then you have Russia, Belarus, Russia, and I'm sure there's problems with the gas supply, their transit, just like Ukraine. Russia now seems like everyone's saying, they'll be invading Ukraine any day now.
Yeah, sure.
That's what Washington is saying. Let me see. I had producer Bart. I'm going to producer Bart.
If they were ever going to do it, it would be a good time.
Here we go. Producer Bart, he's in Poland. In the case of Belarus, he even spells it that way, Belarus, and Russia, there's one aspect I'd like to mention. At the end of 2022, the contract between Poland and Russia, Gazprom, for natural gas deliveries will expire. At the same time, the Baltic pipeline has been finished, and starting October 2022, Norwegian gas deliveries will start. I don't think Putin's very happy about that. Aha. So this is what may be going on.
Well, something like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, remember the Nord Stream 2 got shut down by the Germans. That we can't overlook that
for no apparent reason.
Well, political. So this has got to all be related. And maybe Erdogan is. How about this? Putin's pissed. So he gets his little boy Erdogan. He says, "Hey, I'll give you those S-400s. AS-400s. That would be funny. I'll give you this S-400s. But you got to start sending some towel heads over there." I'm just talking the way Putin would talk, right?
Towel heads. Come on.
That's how he's talking.
Misgendered early in the show, and now you're doing this. And these accents. Oh
my God! The show is no good. It's hurting the show. How about that? Something along those lines.
We can speculate all we want. There's something's up, is all we know for sure.
No, we can't
expect. It involves Erdogan, and I think I don't know. It's beyond me. I mean, I'll keep looking, trying to find out, but I don't think I'm going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
I do have two associated clips about the Rittenhouse situation.
Yeah, holy crap! Is this thing like a psyop? The way they put this all together,
I think there's some psyop aspect to it. That's for sure.
I mean,
I want to play. I'm apologizing in advance for playing anything from Tucker Carlson since he's banned from the show. But I want to play Overview 1 Rittenhouse, and this is Tucker Carlson's roundup of the media coverage, and we've pretty much followed it closely, and the media coverage of the Rittenhouse thing was slanted, and it was bullcrap, and it was lies, and let's listen to Carlson's rap.
In retrospect, it's remarkable just how dishonest, how thoroughly and intentionally dishonest the media coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse story turned out to be. All of it was a lie. Rittenhouse was not a white supremacist. He was never in a militia. He never crossed state lines with a firearm. The protest in Kenosha was not peaceful. It was a riot, chaotic and violent. Many of the rioters, by the way, carried guns. Rittenhouse was hardly alone. Rittenhouse didn't go to Kenosha looking for trouble. His father lived there. Rittenhouse himself worked as a lifeguard in Kenosha. On August 25th of last summer, Rittenhouse went downtown to stand guard over a car lot. Here's the context. The night before, police in Kenosha had done nothing as the mob burned businesses, including another car lot, all the way to the ground. So the business owner needed Kyle Rittenhouse's help. He was looking to a 17-year-old for help, if that gives you some perspective on how bad things were, and he asked for it. As Rittenhouse stood there, rioters threatened his life. Then they attempted to kill him. In the end, Rittenhouse shot 3 attackers as he tried to run to the safety of the police. A number of media outlets claimed the men Rittenhouse shot were black. In fact, all 3 were white, and all 3 had serious criminal records. We could go on. Again, the media coverage was, from beginning to end, a tapestry of lies. If you watched the trial last week, you know that.
Yes, I saw this episode. That's a very good rundown.
So we agree that the media is, and I blame, by the way, not the media necessarily. I blame the New York Times. They were the ones who triggered this whole barrage of nonsense.
Yeah, but they are ground zero of the media.
They're ground zero for shit like this.
Yeah. Yes.
So now the media has perpetrated a lie, and the result of it is kind of frightening, and I think it's irresponsible. Well, it's obviously irresponsible, because I want to play a clip now from Colbert, from his monologue, and I want you to listen for the memes that Colbert has in here about the crossing of state lines, this and that, and then the audience reaction. And this is just the beginning of it. He goes on.
You know what's funny? You say the audience reaction, and I'm literally looking at the waveform of the audio. And I'm like, How sick is that? I can see the waveform and hear it in my head.
You can. And he goes on after this to be even worse, but this is the gist of the whole thing.
Big news on Friday was that after being accused of crossing state lines, killing 2 people, and wounding another last year during a Black Lives Matter protest, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all counts. Okay. Yeah, okay, cards on the table. I'm not a legal expert, so I can't tell you whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse broke the law. But I can tell you this. If he didn't break the law, we should change the law.
Yo. On message.
That seems simple. That seems simple.
Yeah. Yes, this is why I say a psychological operation. I could just analyze it from what I see. And Colbert is right on message, and holy crap, did it work. I mean, that sounded like more than just a rent-a audience that was happy, don't you think? That sounded pretty sincere.
Oh, no, it was sincere, and the audience was whooping it up.
Yeah, sincere.
They boo the name Kyle Rittenhouse, and they clap when Colbert says we need to change the law. The law is fine.
I give...
And it's really disgusting, because it's not that these people aren't insincere, or they're phonies, or even Colbert. Well, Colbert is a phony, he's an actor, but they sincerely believe this because they've been brainwashed they have been reading the New York Times and getting this information this way, and it's like just outward lies that are, I don't know what the point of it is.
I do. And
okay,
Stephen Colbert just hit the nail on the head. I'm going to give the Democrats credit. The Democrat Party of the United States, MERCA, had a long-term operation set up. This was planned. These court cases, all scheduled around the same time. Everything was set up beautifully. We had the media had their script, so it didn't even matter what the outcome would be. The prosecution was aired incessantly on MSNBC and CNN. Actually, I think Fox did cut away from time to time because the op is on all sides. Then when the defense came up, MSNBC stopped carrying it live, as did CNN. That's when Fox News went in. So this is creating this division. And the whole plan, the talking point of cross state lines, vigilantes, kids with guns, this is all about new laws, new gun legislation. It's going to be introduced any day now. It was set up perfectly. Problem. The president is an idiot, can't speak right, can't do anything, can't appeal. Where's Obama when you need him? And then, to make matters worse, this happened.
This morning, the family of a
I'm sorry. This happened.
We're going to begin tonight in Waukesha, Wisconsin, a close-knit community that is reeling in grief following a horrific attack at its annual Christmas parade.
So they had the Rittenhouse set up. They had the Aubrey trial set up, which is true vigilantism, and I think that's a correct verdict, guilty. Oh, yeah. And everyone sees that. But because of they went too far. They went too far, and people are seeing two things. One, they're seeing that they were being misled by the media or their own misreading of headlines. Even Anna from Young Turks, she said, holy crap, I thought it was black guys. I thought this guy was clearly like, a Trump murderer. She says, I have to evaluate my sources. People have seen that. People are also seeing.
Anna said that?
Yes.
And she was at the point where she thought the guy had shot black guys?
Yes.
How out of it are you to think that?
But more importantly, she's one of the 40% in the mass formation who just went, holy crap. Or maybe she was one of the 30% and woke up. Something happened. Yeah. They broke it with this. And now people are seeing with this parade attack, with this killings, with the murder, people are seeing the difference in the coverage. They're seeing all the differences. Oh, yeah. It came so quickly. And the legal system, look, if you got money in America, you're going to be okay in the legal system. I think people saw that too. Look at OJ. So this has broken something, and they almost had it right.
I don't think it was they. I don't think it was they.
I think it was the Democratic Party. I think they totally had this schedule.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the guy in the SUV plowing through the parade. That wasn't part of this.
That's what I'm saying.
Some maniac.
That's what I'm saying. That broke it.
Yeah, I know, but when you say they almost got it right, it assumes within the sentence structure that this had something to do with it.
No. It says that interrupted it. They almost got it right. This interrupted it. That's what I said.
They did. This screwed it up.
Yeah.
But they're doing everything they can. This is actually fun to watch the scramble.
Yes. The scramble.
Oh, he was being chased by the cops, and all these things they're trying to come up with. None of them make any sense.
And what are we learning? he had just tried to mow down his girlfriend with the car, that he was let off. He was
the low bail by one of the low bail guys.
Uh-huh. And this is now starting to come to a head when you look at what's happening in context of California.
Well, we have I got some riot coverage here.
Yes.
Riot coverage. I'm talking about the mass robberies.
You mean the organized crime? It's organized crime.
Organized crime because of low bail. They just let people out. And this is not working. We do know that the Seattle DA, one of the pioneers of this.
Nut Job-a-rama.
Got kicked out. And now we still have this guy in San Francisco that everyone's irked about. But here's a couple of interesting points. Here's a news crew in the middle of the day in Oakland, which has also got this problem with the soft DA. KRN news journalists, they get jumped in the middle of the street. Listen to this.
Last month. Now, that break-in happened on Monday night. It was today, just before 12:30. A news crew from Crude Television was here to cover that burglary when an armed robbery crew pulled up. Now, I spoke with 2 eyewitnesses who did not want to appear on camera. They say the gunman ordered the news crew and their guard to get on the ground, and it was just a few moments after that shots were fired and the guard was hit. Now, Oakland police have not released any details on the shooting other than to say that the guard was hit in the stomach and no one else was injured.
As you know, it has been an extremely violent week. We are asking if you are in the area, have a business, or live nearby to please check your surveillance footage, as you may have captured the crime before, during, or after it occurred.
The guard who was shot works for Star Security. That's the same agency used by KPIX and other Bay Area television stations, a precaution that was started years ago after a string of robberies targeting television news crews. We're here in Oakland. Wilson Walker, KPIX 5.
I have a clip from the Lieutenant Tracy McCrae from the San Francisco Sheriff's Department. It comes from Fox News, but she is speaking on behalf, I presume, of law enforcement. Thought it was quite lucid.
So you had the Walgreens, you had the Nordstrom, now you have Louis Vuitton, Burberry, Yves Saint Laurent, all of these high-end places just getting hit by mobs of people who are organized to do this. And there's no fear of any type of repercussions. So people are coming into the city and just causing havoc, knowing that they can get away with it.
They covered up their license plate numbers. Do you think that any of these people will ever be tracked down and prosecuted?
I mean, I'm hopeful. We did catch 8 people that night, but that level of sophistication, what you just said, covering their license plates, right? No ordinary crook or criminal is going to do that. Right? So here you have a very sophisticated network of thieves knowing what they're doing, targeting what they want to go after. You know, the big lie here is about, Prop 47. When the ACLU supported that and said, oh, we'll make your neighborhoods and schools safer. No, they didn't. Thieves have figured out what the game is. You mean I could steal up to $950 and I can only get a citation if I get caught, and those citations will never be prosecuted.
And this, by the way, helps when you have a group, in the case of the San Francisco robberies, 100 people.
Yeah.
They all take $1,000 worth of stuff.
Do you
or $950, as it were.
Do you think, similar to parents who have children being taught things they disagree with, that San Franciscans and others, but San Franciscans certainly of all political persuasions, will start to realize that there's something wrong with the system?
Well, let's hope so. I have the crime spree update, which is about the San Francisco robberies, and there's a couple of kickers in here.
To the late details in that retail crime spree. Within the past hour, suspects arrested for robberies in San Francisco's Union Square went before a judge. KPIX5's Max Darrow live in San Francisco with more of the details for us. Max?
Yeah, the hearing just concluded less than an hour ago, and what we found out is 5 of the defendants listed in the Louis Vuitton crime spree pled not guilty to all felony charges that they have been charged with. Take a look at some of the video reminding you what the scene looked like just over the weekend in Union Square. Ivan Speed, Tamiko Miller, Francine White, and Kimberly Sherry appeared at the same time. These 4 defendants all face felony charges related to burglary and theft. A judge ruled 2 of the defendants, Miller and Speed, are not to be released from custody, citing their extensive criminal histories. He did not set bail for them. The judge did set bail at $5,000 for the 2 other defendants, White and Cherry. The judge said since this seemed to be a purely financially driven crime, setting bail for these 2 defendants seemed appropriate. It's an incentive to get them to return to court when they're asked to.
I just stole $20,000 worth of Louis. Yeah, they don't care.
Well, they said, it's because it's a financially incentive.
Yeah, please.
Aren't most crimes except murder, and even murders often is a financially incentivized crime?
Pretty much.
So what difference does it make? And so then they also said, there was also in that report, he says, well, we get a little bail that might encourage them or will encourage them to come back. Not after you stole 20, just leave. That says to me that these no bail, let them go. They're not coming back. They're just going.
Yeah, they'll leave the state if they have to.
This is crazy. And there's all these left-wing district attorneys who run for these offices in these cities. They had it in mind. They're going to change things. That Tlaib woman just did an interview with Axios.
I have it.
Oh, well, let's listen to this maniac.
Now, this is about the Breathe Act, which comes from the I Can't Breathe, Michael. Say his name. I can't remember his name. In New York, and he suffocated. So this is the Breathe Act, and this is Axios interviewing her about it, reading verbatim from the act, but also Axios is more left-leaning than right-leaning, and they're astonished.
Even they're
astonished.
Dumbfounded.
In 2020, you endorsed the Breathe Act, which is a series of proposals to transform America's criminal justice system and create, quote, a roadmap for prison abolition. The Breathe Act proposes emptying federal detention facilities within 10 years. To what extent have you wrestled with any potential downsides of releasing into society every single person who's currently in a federal prison?
Yeah, I think that everyone's like, oh my God, we're going to just release everybody. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, but did you see how many people are mentally ill that are in prison right now?
No, I know, but the act that you endorsed actually says release everyone in 10 years.
But think about it. Who are releasing?
But there are like human traffickers.
Oh, I know.
Child sex. So, but you're saying, do you mean that you don't actually support that? Because you endorsed the bill.
No, I endorsed the Breathe Act and looking at federal the policies and how we incarcerate. Absolutely.
But it says in there.
But you cannot just blanketly say, "Oh, look, she wants." That's not what I'm saying.
But that's like in plain text.
But what I'm saying is, look at who's in prison now. No, look at the folks that are mentally ill, that have substance abuse problems.
But I'm not disagreeing with you that there are people who
but then why aren't you asking me about them? You're asking me about the human traffickers and others that should.
I'm trying to understand. What I'm trying to understand is your proposal is so sweeping. It does release everyone. And what I'm trying to say to you
within 10 years, and obviously there's a process of looking at how can we get away from mass incarceration and move towards care first.
But what I'm trying to understand, because it is such a sweeping, concrete proposal, do you believe that there are still categories of people who should be behind bars?
There are absolutely folks that I don't I don't know, because right now the way the prison system is supposed to be like rehabilitatory, it's supposed to be rehabilitation, right?
Right.
No, really, that's how I
understand.
I don't think there's any rehabilitation happening right now for those that might actually have, and again, a majority, there's so many that have mental health issues, other struggling issues.
Do you think all people can be rehabilitated?
I don't think so. I've been very clear about that.
Okay, I know exactly what happened here. And it's not so hard to figure out. She didn't read it. Someone told her, hey, you got to get on board with my thing here. We want to, get crazy people out of jail.
Correct, because she didn't know that it says everybody gets released in 10 years.
No, and that's part of the problem is all laws are written by lobbyists, and people just go along with it. And, it's like us not finding the whole clip. You get burned, and she got burned here.
Yeah. Yeah, she's going to regret this interview.
Oh, yeah, especially when she's, her head is shaven and she's being marched naked down Main Street.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Now, we do have a few people to thank for show 1401, not including Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Josh Jackson's on the top of the list, $132. Thanks for a great Thanksgiving. He's got a well-wisher. Ian Field, 100. Netherlands. Dory de Jong, $100 from Holland. Matthew Smith in North Royalton, Ohio, $99.99. Sir Chris Gray of the Isle of Wight. The Queen owns that island. $88.88 in Covington, Louisiana. I guess he lived in the Isle of Wight at some point.
Yeah.
Andre, another Hollander. Thank you. And he's in Rijswijk.
Pichu.
Rijswijk. Wijk. He's Rijswijk. Andre Pichu.
Something like that.
Andre Pichu. In the Isle of... not the Isle, but the town of
Rijswijk.
Rijswijk. Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Duke of the Luna.
That's what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving is that. Rijswijk.
Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Duke. There's a lot of people that can't do that bit. They can't do the R roll.
Well, that's why we did it instead of Abbott and Costello.
My wife is one of them.
She can't do the
I don't think my daughter can either, which is interesting.
I could even do the Cardi B version. Huh.
Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Duke of Luna, lover of America.
Oops.
Wait a minute. This is Sir Kevin McLaughlin again?
Every single show, man. He loves the boobs.
He does. 8008 from him. Bill Heinegler in Henderson, Nevada. 7447. Mark Lyons in Minneapolis, Minnesota Nuts. 7410. David Forbes, 6006. Phil Huxford in Easton, Connecticut, 5716. Paul Webb in Twickenham, Middlesex,
I've been to Twickenham.
Twickenham.
Yes.
5555. I think there's a stop from the tube.
I think I landed there probably.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah.
Sir Loudpipes, Baron of Mecklenburg County, Charlotte, North Carolina. John 5510. John Gaynor, 5280. Dustin Reed in Springfield, 52. Forrest Martin, 5005. And by the way, Dustin's got a birthday call out for somebody. And he wants a biscuit for his birthday. And so does Tori Bajorquez. Oh, I don't know. In Mission Viejo.
You gave up, man. You gave up on that.
I did. It's a de-douching for her dad, Aaron.
You've been
She came in at 5001. Mission Viejo. And then finally, we got the $50 donors, a short list today, you should note, for Sunday, so we can maybe pick it up. Nobody will be around because they're all traveling around. Pamela Nyman in Amsterdam. Jesus Allen in Austin, Texas. Patrick Macomb, and he's a sir.
Sir Patrick.
He's in New York. Aaron Tanner, Alexa Delgado in Aptos, Simon Shong in Lawrenceville, Georgia, Gregory Elder, Leland Smith, Todd Grubb in Capic, Michigan, Sir Alan Bean up there in Beaverton, and last but not least, Leanne Shipley in Covington, Washington, 50. I want to thank these folks for making this show possible. Thank each and every one of them and the people that came in with lesser amounts too.
Yes, and let me see. We have some housekeeping here.
the make goods.
Well, first of all,
they always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
For those who needed that biscuit. Robert Winter. No. Well, Mike from, yes, Robert Winter. This is a make good. Mike from Makakita. Hit me in the mouth about a year ago. I thought that it would be a good opportunity to make my first donation for show number 1400 and my 47th birthday on 11/19. For payment, I used my Smoking Hot Wife's credit card and saw a comment box after entering the card information. Thinking that this is where I should leave my note, I proceeded to type in a short message, only to find out during the show that the donation was credited to my wife, Jennifer Winter, and no note was received. Please correct the name to Rob Winter and add me to the birthday list. I would also like to ask for a de-douching. And he says, stay safe.
You've been de-douched.
I mean, a real man would have said, hey, it's okay. My wife can have it because I love her. But we'll change it for you.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
And Cody Arden, that was weird. We had 2 Codys on the last show. And there were some note mix-ups. And
you had too many Codys.
We had too many. We had the Cody Cooties. And so Cody Arden should have been knight. We did read Cody's note, but we didn't knight Cody. So I think that makes Cody a black knight.
Yes, it's our screw up. He's a black knight.
And he shall be Sir Leadbelly of the digital dystopia. There you go. So all fixed, all sorted out. Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting. You have more? You have more?
No, there's this. I'm looking at, unfortunately, this thing's
You're
not
going,
quite.
had you bed, you bed, you bed, you bed, you bed.
Yeah, this slow down. Is Robert Basshole, and I don't see it. Robert Basshole should be on the birthday list. He's down there. Somebody's calling him for a birthday and way down on the spreadsheet. Robert Basshole in Shelton, Connecticut. Happy birthday. 36. He's going to be 36 one of these days.
Hold on. What number is he then?
He's 36.
No, way down on the spreadsheet. I need to.
The number is just it's in the donation. I'll tell you the donation amount. It's way down there. It's $15 from someone in Beacon Falls, Connecticut.
Okay. Well, gee, I wish we had done this earlier. Here we go. Okay, Robert Basshole. Okay, Robert Basshole. And he will be 36. Okay. Well, we don't want to disappoint anybody now, do we? And was there any further notes we had to read? I just want to make sure we get everything in because it sucks.
Yeah, I do have a note from someone. This was a note that with no money attached. It was just a card from one of our listeners. And I thought it would be worth reading. It says it's very complimentary and heartfelt.
Oh.
And I think this person has donated before because otherwise she wouldn't be Dame Jennifer Weeda.
Oh, Jennifer Weeda, of course. We know Dame Jennifer.
Yeah. She says, I'm so thankful to have you. It's a nice little card, too. It says, it's a Thanksgiving card that says Happy Thanksgiving. And you know it's real.
Yep.
Or you wouldn't be able to do that.
It's official.
Wishing you all the love, joy, and gratitude that make Thanksgiving so special, says the card. And she says, I'm so thankful to have you and no agenda in my life, John and Adam. Your work is so vitally important in this world of madness. And I am a healthier and happier woman for you. For it. Love you both. Dame Jennifer, and she got a little heart.
Well, we love you too, Dame Jennifer, and all the producers of Gitmo Nation. This show would not be happening without you. You're the ones that bring it. We really appreciate that. Also, the people we didn't mention under $50. Although we are bringing up one guy with his $15 for you. It's a birthday. We got it for you. And if you'd like to participate for 1403, our next episode on Sunday, go to
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday.
And here is the full birthday list as we have it documented today. Rob Winter, 47 on the 19th. Cheryl M. says happy birthday to Travis M., 27 on the 23rd. Bill Hengler, 74 on November 23rd. Congratulations, Bill. Ella Kopistecki, 34 today. Paxton Sanders turns 50 today. Samantha Hoffman says happy birthday to her husband, Brandon, celebrating tomorrow. Robert Basshole in Shelton, Connecticut will be 36. Dustin Rude celebrates tomorrow. Tori Boroquez, happy birthday to her father, Aaron, celebrating on the 28th. And finally, Derek Allison, happy birthday to Travis Baggart, celebrating on the 29th. kind happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. We got a couple of knights and dames. Actually, 1, 2, 3. We have 1 dame and 3 knights. So we'll be
I got
biased.
the 1 dame, 3 knight blade.
That's beautiful. Biased.
It's about time we got to use it.
Alec Opostecki, hop on up. Chris Spradling. Chris Spradling. Get it straight, Curry. Brian Burgess and Cody Arden, all of you have supported the No Agenda Show in the amount of $1,000 or more. Thank you very much for that. And allow me to welcome you to the round table by pronunciating the Dame Noodle Nuker, Sir Crushalot of Sonoma Wine Country, Sir Minnesota Sticks, and Black Knight, Sir Leadbelly of the Digital Dystopia. For you, gentlemen and lady, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We got Damie's Braised Beef Raviolis and Smoke Wagon, a bottle of Robert Sinsinski Blanc and thinly sliced prosciutto, Kratom and Cloney's. I need a lozenge. And, of course, mutton and mead. So if that Kratom doesn't work, the mutton and mead just might. And while you're chowing down, go to noagendanation.com/rings. You can select exactly what you need, the size, maybe even the colors of your sealing wax. And with that, let Eric the Shill know by hitting submit, and we'll take care of it for you. Get it out. Thank you very much for becoming 1 dame and 3 knights of the No Agenda Round Table.
No Agenda Meetups.
Well, the meetup reports are back. People getting more creative. This is something that is becoming increasingly important in today's world, where you need to be able to have human contact and not worried about what you're saying, have open, honest conversations, have a beer, dogs and kids welcome, typically. It's just a good time. It's completely producer organized. We have a knight who came up with the whole noagendameetups.com website. You need to try one of these out. Just as an example, listen to the meetup report from the TMI evac zone.
In the morning from Sir 737, 10 miles west of 3 Mile Island.
This is Mrs. Sir 737, and John, I love the 3x3. No joke.
In the morning from Snob Knob.
This is Chris here with my 2 human resources, and I'm not afraid to exploit them.
Don't drive me Joe Biden. Global on the double.
Residential Spook Maxwell Reeves. Adam, who are these podcasts already?
This is Sir T checking in the morning.
In the morning, John and Adam, thanks for your courage.
Let's go, Brandon.
Wanda in the morning, try RCP.
John, check your pop money. And Adam, could you please give a dedouching to everyone here? They all bought a drink.
Yeah, we can dedouche everybody.
You've been dedouched.
Just for this one time, don't put that in every single report. And we always encourage exploiting your children. Make sure you run a separate recorder, because it's usually the stuff you don't rehearse with them that is great. One of our OG meetup groups is Michigan Local 1.
In the morning, John and Adam. This is Trish reporting from the meetup, literally roller skating.
This is Vic here with my 2 human resources and my husband, Dan.
In the morning, John and Adam. We're at this meetup. I don't see any spooks, though.
Adam, John, having a good time here at the Michigan Local 1.
This is Sir Ned looking for an exit strategy.
My name's Flaming Camera. My name is Olivia.
This is Trish from Ferndale, Michigan. Thank you for all you do. Let's go, Brandon.
Yo, this is Nick, Dragon of the 4 Domains. The beaches are back open. Woohoo!
In the morning to you. This is Dweezes of Hazardous. I have not been dedouched yet. I will be soon as I can sell off the rest of these fake vaccination cards. Thanks for the job that you do.
Your Michigan Local 1 meetup brought to you in part by Oops, I Crap My Pants. You can also spew excrement just like our spokesperson.
Come on, man. You two can do it too. Where's Jill?
What's your name?
My name's Joe Biden. Let's go, Brandon.
Duncan.
My name is Annika. I'm 8 years old, and I have a joke about Joe Biden. So if he went for an interview in California, he would get off the plane and say, "Where am I? I wrote the checks."
Wow, my head is spinning. And to make matters even more interesting, the organizer of that Michigan Local 1 apparently has a private roller rink where everyone hung out, which is like
Michigan Local 1s.
I could have gone for that one. Yeah, I like the idea of that. And then we have the Lowlanders. My goodness, they are fighting the good fight there, speaking their own truth and meeting up against all odds and obstacles in Amsterdam.
On the outskirts of the crime capital of Gitmo Lowland, Amsterdam.
Hello, this is Dame Bam Bam at the Amsterdam Super Spread event.
Hi, this is Alvin, and we're having a party.
This is Sebastian, host of the meetup. Let's go, Hugo. Let's go, Mark. Thank you for your courage in the morning.
In the morning, Sander Whisper speaking from Amsterdam, the crime capital of Holland. So see you soon in the next meetup.
In the morning, this is Pieter Uiltje. We had a great family time.
In the morning.
Hi, this is Arno. It was a nice birthday meetup.
It's John here again, coming you from Amsterdam with a fantastic meetup from Sebastian. Thank you. And everybody remember, cats.
Thank you very much. It was very nice here in Amsterdam. We see the ducks. In the morning, ducks.
Nee man, echt niet.
In the morning, it's dangerous. Coming to you live from Amsterdam meetup. Thank you for your courage.
In the morning! Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to take your B12.
There you go. That's a meetup report right there. The Dutch having a good time, but everyone's having a good time. That's what's so cool about it. And you can too. This Saturday, if you're in Oregon, the local 33 Richard's Early Patty Party meets at Dick's Primal Burger. The owner is also a producer, and that's in Portland. We have on Sunday, the 28th, the Sydney Freedom Meetup, 1 o'clock Sydney Australian time. I think it's actually already Sunday, 1 o'clock Australian time there. And there's a lot of details on the No Agenda Meetup website as to how to get there, where it is, and you can imagine why, because it's going to probably be completely outside of all legal boundaries down under. FEMA Region 9's first monthly meetup, 2 o'clock on Sunday the 28th at the Santa Maria Brewing Company. Also, Thankful for No Agenda 505 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sir Jeffrey Tuhig is hosting that, good friend, good pal of the pod, at Urban 360 Pizza. And the Macomb, Michigan meetup, 7 o'clock at Manigan's Irish Hut, Mount Clemens, Michigan. And that will be on Sunday as well. And if you are looking for something to do in December, we already have at least 20 different, maybe even more, meetups lined up and scheduled. It is something to be a part of. If you can't find one near you in that corner of the globe, all you have to do is set one up yourself. It's easy. You can do it at noagendameetups.com, just like a party.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Well, vacation holiday, and we're still long. I don't know how that happened. I really only have, let me see if I have any ISOs.
Like 20 minutes over.
Let me see what I have here. What is this?
Build your brain back better, man. Come on.
What? I'm doing ISOs. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, I thought you said you were playing clips.
No, ISOs.
Build your brain back better, man. Come on.
No, that's no good. Someone sent me this, a classic.
Silent breed is people!
Too long.
This one.
In the morning.
I like her. I like that little Dutch girl. That's all I got.
All right, I got two. Besides the Biden one, which is too long, and I'm not going to even suggest it. Is dark?
Why are we here in the dark?
Yeah.
It's a show ending.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a better show ending. Lawyer.
I'm calling my lawyer.
Oh, yeah. No, perfect. That's good. Where's that from?
Oh, it's from one of these.
Sounds like a cartoon. Like a cartoon.
I'm calling my lawyer.
No, it was from a clip from NPR.
Well, that's what I mean. Cartoon. NPR.
Yeah.
All right. Let me ask you. Oh, wait. Before we go, I just need to play this. Just to show how powerful China is, that even Jamie Dimon is China's bitch.
The CEO of the largest bank in America, JP Morgan Chase, is apologizing to the Chinese Communist Party. It's over a joke he made yesterday. At an event in Boston, Jamie Dimon quipped that JP Morgan would outlive the Chinese regime.
I made a joke that the Communist Party is celebrating its 100th year. So is JP Morgan. And I'll make you bet we last longer. I can't say that in China.
The Chinese regime didn't directly respond to the comments, but Diamond clarified this morning that he was only trying to stress JP Morgan's longevity and that he was sorry for his comments.
I mean, is that power?
Oh, we got the word that, some friend, a Xi guy was like unhappy with what you had to say. Not asking for an apology or anything, but, wouldn't hurt.
I just find that, it's like, of all the people to have to grovel, Jamie Dimon, huh?
That is a cake taker.
That's
no doubt about it.
Pretty
That's
high
really
up,
pathetic. That's as bad as with that actor.
John Cena.
John Cena, yeah, he's another good example of a guy who had to grovel because he said something they didn't.
And he groveled in Mandarin fluently. Hello.
Yeah, which made it even more pathetic.
Hello. So what are you doing for the cooking for Thanksgiving?
I'm doing a spatchcocked turkey.
Spatchcocked turkey.
And on the outside barbecue, and then JC is doing a competitive spatchcocked turkey in his oven, and we're going to see what works better.
It's a spatchcock off. This is interesting. What is a spatch? What is a spatchcock off? What is a spatched cocked?
Oh, this is the thing.
See,
this is what the millennials. That's all they talk about now is spatchcocked. And I mentioned on the Horowitz show, he's doing a spatchcocked turkey too.
I feel left out. What is a spatchcocked turkey?
It's cut. It's a turkey that's cut along the bottom and then split open, so it's kind of a flat, big thing. It's like flat. You cook it on, it's more like a butterflied.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a butterflied turkey.
You need a really big pan for that, then.
You need a big pan, or I got a barbecue. I got a Texas grill, so
you do it on the grill?
I'm gonna do it. No, not at the grill. I mean, it's a Texas barbecue side cooker. I got a big giant, a lot of space in there to put a spatchcock turkey.
Well, Horowitz is doing. He's a chef. Do people know that he's a chef?
He's a maniac.
Yes,
he's a really good cook.
No, he's a maniac. Let's leave it at that.
He's a maniac.
I'm thankful for you too, Andrew.
I'm not out spatchcocking Andrew.
And I'm thankful for you, John C. Dvorak. And I am going to tell you what's coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com, which is, Mo Facts with Adam Curry, episode 71. Brand new. End of show. We're going to keep it short. We got one it's because we only got one. Tom Starkweather, but Tom Starkweather, man, when he does his historical stuff and it gives you the timeline of the week, it's going to be good. And I'm coming to you from the heart of Texas Hill Country, here in FEMA Region number 6 and all the governmental maps. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain, I'm just checking the traffic out. It looks like a lot of people on the road, but it's not jam-packed. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday with episode 1403 of the best podcast in the universe. Please remember us and support us with value for value at Dvorak.org/NA. Until then, adios, mofos! Such.
I oftentimes experimented. I'd have some people in, I'd give them absolutely perfect drugs, tough cookies, rough cookie.
And by the way, I'm heading to a food kitchen.
It's a big one, not a small one.
Bottom up and the middle out, not the top down. Let's do that.
No way. Are you an idiot? The wind is ruining our beautiful prairies and our beautiful fields and lands and everything else.
And by the way, jobs.
Rough cookie, tough cookies. Space Force. Russia. Fake.
Right now, as I speak, high gas prices. The bottom line, high gas prices. This is a problem. It goes for everything from bicycles to ice skates.
Are you an idiot? We're spending money and just like throwing it out the window. People working.
Jobs.
Abdul. They come back. Abdul. Drugs.
And if so, will they cost me an arm and a leg?
The latest model, still in the boxes.
Let's do that.
I would have done all of that.
I'm heading to a a food kitchen.
Magnificent. And I have to devote time to that. People working.
Jobs.
And by the way, people should have their freedoms, no mandates.
This is a problem.
Are you an idiot?
Right now, as I speak, high gas prices.
People working.
Jobs.
Tough cookies. Rough cookie. No, Abdul. I mean it. They've left. He would often come to the White House trying to get goodies.
This is a problem.
It's terrible.
Let's do that.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
I'm calling my lawyer.